Shooting took place at Lambert International Airport overnight. There's one person dead in Terminal 1, the latest coming up.
And we're going to have an update on the trial of St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery from Sean Malone.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Some fog this morning, otherwise periods of rain today. Steadiest and heaviest this morning, our high reaching 55.
The American Lung Association says its latest report finds some wins in the battle against lung cancer. That's coming up.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Fallout after President Trump accused a group of Democratic lawmakers of sedition, a crime punishable by death, for calling on members of the military to ignore illegal orders. Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy.
This puts all of our lives in jeopardy, right? What are we all doing right now? Democrats in Congress are on the phone with their chiefs of staff, beefing up our security.
Tennessee's Republican Congressman Tim Burchett.
If they're calling on our military to not do what the President of the United States says, I think that's some pretty dangerous times when we've got elected officials doing that. And I think that's
punishable by death, you think?
If that's what the law calls for.
The president suggested on social media the Democrats be arrested and put on trial. New York's newly elected Democratic Socialist Mayor Zohran Mamdani will meet with President Trump at the White House today. CBS's Aaron Navarro.
Affordability seems to be the big focus for Mamdani, lowering costs, which is something that President Trump ran on in 2024. For his part, ever since Mamdani won the election and became the mayor-elect of New York City, President Trump has said that he wants New York to be successful.
The White House spokeswoman calls Mamdani a communist. The Trump administration wants to break decades of precedent with a proposal to open federal waters to new oil and gas drilling.
The Interior Department's plan calls for offshore lease sales along the California coast and new drilling 100 miles off Florida's west coast. There's strong opposition from California Governor Gavin Newsom and bipartisan opposition in Florida, including from Republicans Governor Ron DeSantis and Senator Rick Scott. Tourism and access to clean beaches are key parts of the economy in both states. Michael Toscano, CBS News, Washington.
Federal investigators have released a preliminary report on the deadly UPS cargo plane crash in Kentucky this month. Transportation correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
The NTSB was able to recover components from that engine and the pylon that attaches the engine to the wing of the plane. What they found in some of those metal components were signs of fatigue cracks, fatigue in the metal, that it appears touched off this sequence of disaster.
A painting by a Mexican surrealist sets a record.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to sleep perchance, to dream, we come to El Sueño La Cama, one of Frida Kahlo's most storied, poignant and psychologically complex self-portraits.
Kahlo's 1940 work, picturing her lying in bed, dreaming of a large skeleton overhead, has sold for $55 million. It's the highest price ever paid for one of her paintings. Kahlo was severely injured in a streetcar accident and spent much of her life in bed. This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It's 6:03. We do still have some rain around the region. 52 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, November 21st. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. One person is dead after a shooting inside Terminal 1 at Lambert International Airport. Fox 2's Chris Renier is outside the airport.
I just talked with some airport officials here. The terminal, I am told, is still operating. People are checking in outside. There is some movement inside, but we can also see crime scene tape inside Terminal 1 here. We just arrived a short time ago. We wanted to get on the air here, bring you what we can. We're going to go inside now, see if we can get more details about what exactly is happening, what is truly a stunning scene here at Lambert Airport with this fatal officer-involved shooting overnight and part of Terminal 1 now a crime scene.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's trial delved into a shouting match between the sheriff's attorney, a witness, and even the judge who will decide his fate.
Sheriff Major Lee Stokes, fourth in command at the department, testified Montgomery told him he was going to arrest Tammy Ross before he met with her and ultimately had her detained. This comes despite Stokes telling him he could not do that. Stokes testified then he was retaliated against by the sheriff for talking to the feds. Things got personal when Stokes said after taking his complaints to HR, a disciplinary hearing with the attorney cross-examining him, David Mason, was called. After the questioning focused on their history, Judge Omer began shouting down Mason, a former judge himself. Omer asked him, "Who is this about, you or the sheriff?" saying, "This doesn't help. If you want to represent your client, do so," saying, "You're defending yourself." Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A St. Louis charter school is on probation.
A child wandering out of the building unnoticed was just the tip of the iceberg at St. Louis Voices Academy. The state commission has placed the school on probation, citing significant safety failures, including a lack of emergency drills and staff who didn't know how to exit during a real fire alarm. Now the school faces a do-or-die deadline. The board has to submit a comprehensive safety plan by 5 p.m. on Monday. If they fail, students will be barred from returning on December 1st, and the state could move to revoke the charter entirely. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This year's State of Lung Cancer report put out by the American Lung Association provides a bit of optimism in the battle against the leading cause of cancer-related death in the United States.
The American Lung Association's Dr. Juanita Mora.
We're seeing progress when it comes to lung cancer. Looking at the last 5 years of data, we know that 5-year survival has increased to 26%.
And she says not only are doctors detecting lung cancer earlier in a way that makes it more likely to be curable, more people are getting screened for it. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
For us doing this 40 years, the demand has always been there.
It is the 40th anniversary of Scouting for Food. Tom Krenning is with the Greater St. Louis Area Council of Scouting America.
Scouting for Food started here in our area 40 years ago and then went national a couple years later.
Thousands of scouts will be going door to door Saturday picking up canned goods. You can find out more this morning at 8:31 here on KMOX.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. A supercomputing conference has the world converging at the Dome at America's Center.
It's a big deal. It's enough to have more than 16,000 people here.
This is Stuart McMillan. I spoke with Dan Olds, a researcher, industry analyst, a speaker at the conference as well, about the idea of using artificial intelligence not really being the main topic. What experts are contemplating at SC25. Booth after booth will show you in the exhibit hall that they're trying to figure out ways to cool the supercomputers that run these massive AI equations.
You're going to see a lot of plumbing. It's because liquid cooling is one way, the best way. It's going to have to happen to cool these systems down.
All of the big tech companies have booths at SC25 like Microsoft, Google, Intel, and NVIDIA.
And a 50-year mortgage proposed by President Trump. Could it become a reality? Jeff Jones is Associate Dean at the College of Business at Missouri State University. He tells MissouriNet he doesn't think it will. Jones says it's not a great proposal and doesn't address the real problem in the current housing market, which is a limited supply of affordable homes.
It's an even greater piece of that payment that is dedicated towards paying interest. So for me, that is the biggest concern with a 50-year mortgage would be the fact that homeowners might pay on that loan for many, many years and really build very little equity in the home.
The Missouri Realtors Association hasn't weighed in yet on that issue.
We'll get a check of traffic and weather coming up in 2 minutes. It's 6:08.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. For 43 days, the left kept the government closed, holding the American people hostage and demanding radical policy changes, including free health care for illegal immigrants. However, thanks to strong Republican leadership, the Senate voted to reopen the government and put America first. I'm thrilled to return to Washington so I can continue to vote to help Missourians, to secure our nation's borders, and to cut wasteful spending. Visit onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. We deliver a life-enhancing environment that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit as residents lean into joy and embrace purpose in a new age of senior living. Simply put, we have your back so you can put your best foot forward. Join us Wednesday, December 3rd for our holiday craft fair, followed by happy hour with BB Boomers. Visit Fairwinds River's Edge on Facebook to learn more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell
Definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-242-3131. 800-242-3131.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get a check of traffic and weather. And fortunately, Fridays tend to be a little less busy on the roadways. And I say that because it's been raining a lot. And the wet roadways certainly aren't going to help things. But let's check in with Roger Brand right now. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest.
Yeah, so far so good on the highways, Debbie, just with the one exception I've been talking about, and that's northbound 55. We had a crash at just a little north of Highway A, and there's still a jam there as you approach 67 through A. It opens up about midway up to McNutt, so that hasn't changed, hasn't gotten any worse, so that's a good sign, but it hasn't gotten any better either, so there's still that bumper-to-bumper jam on northbound 55 just for that short distance. Other than that, the rest of the interstates are good to go. I don't see any other incidents causing delays. Mentioned EMS responding for 270 at Lilac. It's actually on Lilac. I can see the flashing lights on the overpass there, not on 270, so maybe some minor restrictions on Lilac itself, but traffic seems to be moving, getting onto the highway from that point, so that's good news. A little heads up, they didn't specify the time today, but they're scheduled to have Route 3 down to one lane in each direction between Stoley Road and 255, and that'll be a project that'll run through the end of the month. So again, with the weather, they may push the start time back, but that's supposed to happen at some point today. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
But there'll be some fog this morning. Otherwise, periods of rain today, steadiest and heaviest through the morning hours. That can lead to a slow morning commute, the high 55. Bit of rain and drizzle early tonight, then remaining cloudy late tonight, though 43. Those clouds will give way to lots of sunshine tomorrow with a nice afternoon, the high 59. Sunday, mostly sunny and beautiful, the high 64. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And currently, we do have some rain around the region. 52 in Florissant, 53 in St. Peters, and 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. The weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It is now 6:12 and the news continues. Democratic leaders in the House and Senate are calling for President Trump to be condemned following his reaction to a video made by 6 Democratic lawmakers. The video urged members of the military and intelligence community not to obey orders they determined to be illegal.
In response, Mr. Trump posted on Truth Social that the Democrats should be arrested and put on trial for, quote, seditious behavior. Later, he wrote, quote, seditious behavior punishable by death. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer condemned the remarks, stressing that the president must be condemned forcefully, quote, before someone takes his words as permission to do the unthinkable, close quote. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett gave his opinion of the president, calling for lawmakers to be put to death.
You've got members of Congress who, former military, that are telling the military to not do what the president says, and that's part of their oath they take. They take an oath do just that. So, you know, and the law is pretty clear on that. So if this were any other time in history, those folks would be in chains and they'd be in prison.
New York City's mayor-elect will meet with the president at the White House today.
Zohran Mamdani calls himself a democratic socialist. President Trump and White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt called him something else.
We have a communist coming to the White House.
This follows the president's threat to hold back federal funding if Mamdani won the election. Secretary Leavitt seemed to pull back on that threat.
President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states or blue cities.
Mom Donnie says he plans to discuss ways to make New York City more affordable. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The Department of Transportation cracking down on illegal immigrant truck drivers.
The administration is threatening to withhold nearly $75 million in funding in Pennsylvania because it says the state has illegally issued commercial driver's licenses to immigrants, a claim Governor Josh Shapiro has denied. He says the federal government hasn't identified a single commercial driver's license issued there to someone who wasn't eligible. The latest move by the administration follows a similar one recently in California. Both states are run by Democratic governors who have criticized President Trump. Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The funeral service for former Vice President Dick Cheney took place at the National Cathedral in Washington. Cheney died November 3rd at the age of 81, many paying their respects, including former President George W. Bush, who delivered a eulogy for his former vice president. CBS News senior White House correspondent Weijia Zhang had more details from outside the cathedral.
Dick Cheney was a lifelong conservative, and so he actually is one of the leading voices in the Republican Party who spoke out against the current President Trump. And it is notable that Trump is not attending this service today, and neither is the sitting Vice President, J.D. Vance. The White House says that they were not invited to do so, which is out of the ordinary, but not surprising given the tense relationship between Trump and Cheney.
Former President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Vice President Pence were among those in attendance paying their respects to Dick Cheney.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman filling in for Tom Ackerman. The Blues drop another one, up 2-0 on the Flyers last night in Philadelphia. They blow a lead and fall 3-2 in overtime. That's now 4 straight losses. Justin Falk scores both goals in the first period for the Blues, giving them a commanding early lead. But goaltender Joel Hofer allows one in the second, the equalizer in the third, and the game winner with a minute to play in OT. It's the second time in a week the Flyers have done this to the Blues. Last Friday, Philadelphia overcame deficits of 1-0, 3-1, and 5-3 to win in a shootout at Enterprise Center. The Blues now 6-9-6 on the season. Only Nashville's doing worse in the Central Division. College hoops, the Mizzou men takes down South Dakota 102-68 last night in Columbia. The Tigers still unbeaten this season at 6-0. Mark Mitchell leads the team with 22 points. Javon Porter adds 19 on perfect 9-for-9 shooting. Tonight, the 4-0 St. Louis University Billikens at home facing Purdue Fort Wayne. The Bills coming off a 14-point win over Grand Canyon. Amari McCautry leading the way with over 17 points per game so far this season. Tip-off from Chaffetz Arena, 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, number 8 Illinois faces Long Island University at 1 o'clock in Champaign. The Illini coming off a 4-point loss to number 11 Alabama on Wednesday. And in soccer, SLU beats Kentucky 2-1 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Billikens fall behind early, but tie it up with a goal from Jack DiMaria in the 86th minute, then take the lead on another goal from DiMaria in the 104th. SLU advances to the second round of the tourney, where it'll face number 6 Indiana this Sunday at 11 a.m. in Bloomington. And the Maryville University women also advancing in the NCAA tournament. This after the Saints beat Northwood 1-0 yesterday in the first round. They'll now face the 8th seed Cedarville Saturday at 2. Cedarville shocked the number 1 seed in the tournament, Grand Valley State, in its first round matchup. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? YourEstateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason 225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
Taking care of your health should be simple. And with the Neovitin monthly subscription, it finally is. Choose your doctor-formulated multivitamin and we'll deliver it straight to your door every month. No more running out, no more remembering to reorder, just consistent nutrition made easy. Plus, subscribers save 10% every month and can pause or cancel at any time. Visit neovitin.com and start your subscription today. Neovitin, trusted nutrition every day.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Looks like autumn has arrived, and all fall long, a Metro Transit Day Pass is still just $5, which makes you just one click away from your one-day mental health fall getaway. Plan your trip at metrostlouis.org.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 6:20. We're going to check that forecast coming up in just a moment. First, though, let's get the latest on the roads from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still on the scene with the incident. I guess it's a crash, Megan, on Lilac at 270. Some restrictions on the overpass, but it's not impacting drivers on the highway 270. They don't see the flashing lights, aren't paying attention to it, which is great. So there's no delays there. Northbound 55, you do have that backup approaching 67, bumper to bumper through Highway A, where we had that earlier crash. It opens up midway up to McNutt, but it's stop and go through there. Like I said last time, it hasn't really gotten any worse, but also it hasn't gotten any better. If you're on northbound 55, it's just a little slow between Loughborough and Virginia right now. Other than that, there's a crash reported on the shoulder. I can't see it. Eastbound 70 at Jennings Station. Don't see any delays there, though. And they were reporting debris a moment ago in the center lane of eastbound 44 right around Grand. But again, I don't see any delays at that point either. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Fog this morning, but rain too. Heaviest this morning, but it'll continue throughout the day, a high 55. Rain and drizzle early tonight, then cloudy overnight, a low of 43. And tomorrow, clouds giving way to plenty of sunshine, a pleasant afternoon, a high of 59. Right now, we do have some rainfall, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The International Institute of St. Louis is hosting a free community Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday. Blake Hamilton is joining me right now. Blake, can you give us a little idea of what the community Thanksgiving dinner is going to be like on Sunday?
Absolutely. Our community Thanksgiving dinner is really a way to welcome new arrivals and recent arrivals to our community and really have them share in this American tradition of giving thanks.
I imagine for some new Americans or some people new to this country, Thanksgiving is not a holiday that they will necessarily be familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, while Thanksgiving really is very American, the notion of giving thanks really runs across cultures. And so when we sort of explain the historical elements of this, regardless of that shared history, the notion of giving thanks and being thankful for what we have, while many really continue to face challenges in accessing basic resources, there are still many things that many folks have reason to be thankful for. And it's about remembering those things as well. And that is really just a message that expands across culture, across countries. And so we're really happy to be able to host this event. Now, holidays really can be isolating, especially for families that are newer to the region and maybe don't understand why everything is closed yet, right? So this dinner really is an opportunity to make sure everybody feels included and connected, and that's a way that we can help the community go stronger.
When you say it's a community dinner, who all comes to this and who is invited?
Well, we really want every family in St. Louis to feel that there's a seat for them at the table. So our doors are really open. And yes, we're inviting those folks that we serve, but this is a community dinner, and we're happy to host folks that want a space to feel welcome.
Do you rely on donations for this, or where does the food come from?
Oh, yes. We rely on many donations. We're partnering with Hendry's Catering, and it's really an event that's sponsored by Dot Foods. We're partnering with Build-A-Bear as well, who are going to have about 300 teddy bears to be giving out to the kids in attendance. Gateway Science Academy and its orchestra will be performing. We're thankful for our partners at Welcome Neighbor, who will be supplying some volunteers to help serve dinner, and many other of our own volunteers who really are working to put this on and make the day possible. So this is really a community commitment to welcoming. We're happy to be able to host that here at the Institute.
I ran into you a few months, of course, at the Festival of Nations, and it's always such a beautiful celebration of immigrants and new Americans and all of the different cultures that we welcome here. But also at the same time, there is a pervasive feeling in this country of some anti-immigrant sentiment. So how do you parse that, or how do your clients deal with that?
Well, I mean, this is obviously a very challenging time for many immigrants. They are very worried about themselves and their loved ones. Those folks that are legally present here and those that aren't are all feeling the weight of what's going on in our country right now. And really, this is about showing up and showing out and making sure that folks that are in this community understand that they do belong here, and there are many here who do support them. And the festival is one way that we do that, and show that this community values a multicultural community and the many different backgrounds that make our region what it is, and really keeping alive the notion that immigration is not just a fact of our nation's past; it's a part of our present. And if we're lucky, it'll be part of our future. We've really relied in this region on international immigration to stem population decline that we've seen for decades. And, just the most recent information released by the census earlier this spring showed that this region actually grew by 6,000 residents. And we actually welcomed 12,000 international immigrants to the region in that same period. So if not for international immigration, we would still continue to see this population decline. It is really a imperative for this region and its growth is to be welcoming, and to welcome these folks who are very highly educated, as many folks that are in our region are, and really folks that are disproportionately entrepreneurial, starting businesses and hiring and adding to the vibrancy of our economy here. These are ways that many cities in this country have grown. It's the way that we have grown as a city in our history as well. So really it's about recapturing that and continuing the message that St. Louis is a welcoming place and a place of opportunity for many who call it home. And we want to put that on full display through our events like Festival of Nations, like this Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, it all starts at 4 with the Gateway Science Academy Orchestra performing. It's at the International Institute on Arsenal in South St. Louis, the community Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
It is now 6:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
KMOX, celebrating 100 years. Presented by Purina. Your pet, our passion. Now, a KMOX pioneer.
A trailblazer for women in St. Louis broadcasting, Ann Keefe brought intelligence, fairness, and integrity to every story she touched. Joining KMOX at a time when few women held newsroom roles, Keefe quickly earned the trust of listeners with her clear reporting and unwavering professionalism. On At Your Service, her interviews became must-listen moments, thoughtful, tough, and always balanced.
With a television, a video terminal display, and a telephone at his side on the beach, Richard Deal may be setting up a whole new trend in business. Incidentally, that's a pretty good way to cut back on office rent. I'm Ann Keefe.
Ann Keefe opened doors for generations to come and helped build KMOX's reputation as a station committed to accuracy, fairness, and the community it serves. Ann Keefe, a KMOX pioneer.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and immerse yourself in the captivating sounds of Russian folk music. Witness a rare event of flame and fantasy as music director Stefan Denev and your SLSO bring Stravinsky's The Firebird to life. Pianist Jean-Yves Thibaudet joins to perform Khachaturian's shimmering piano concerto. November 21st and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here from the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life. Not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:30, and right now we do still have rain in downtown St. Louis. It is currently 53 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's see if that rain is impacting your drive into work. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, volume's light enough that it's not too terrible, but we do have delays. In fact, it looks like we may have an incident on 55, Megan, in the city, right around Holly Hills. I'll try to take a look at that. We do have the delays still out there on northbound 55 from just south of 67 up through Highway A. It's opening up about midway up to McNutt. We had an earlier crash there, and, of course, that is an active construction zone. So between the two, with the rain, I guess it's no surprise. But like I said earlier, at least the jam hasn't gotten any worse. I can't see what's blocking, but there is a jam. Like I said, North 55 starts to slow right around Weber, and it jams at River to Pear, but there's a little backup southbound in the area as well, right through Holly Hills, so we have trouble on 55 there for you in the city. So 55, the only interstate having any backups per se. Now, there is a slowdown eastbound 70 coming into Forestel. They were doing overnight road work there, and there's a little slowdown eastbound 64 just east of the Boone Bridge right now as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, it's going to be kind of a wet slog this morning. Periods of rain today, the steadiest and heaviest rain this morning. Also, a dense fog advisory in effect until 9 this morning. So just expect that your morning commute will be wet and potentially foggy, so give yourself extra time. 55 is our high today, but that rain goes away and we'll have a sunny weekend. Tomorrow, sunshine 59, 64 on Sunday. It's 53 out there right now.
It's 6:32, and happening overnight, a person was shot and killed inside Terminal 1 at Lambert International Airport. St. Louis County Police confirming to KMOX that a St. Louis Airport police officer was involved in that shooting. County detectives are handling the investigation. The shooting has closed the Metrolink station inside Terminal 1. Metrolink passengers are being shuttled from Terminal 2 to Terminal 1 by bus. The rest of the airport is operational.
The employee who drove Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's children to school delivered an emotional and confusing testimony during the sheriff's ongoing trial yesterday.
Montgomery could lose his job because Barb Shavers transported Montgomery's kids in a department vehicle. A big question lingering through her testimony: did she transport them on the taxpayer's dime while she was supposed to be working? Hard to say, since she didn't track her hours. Why? After testifying she lacked access to the employee system, attorneys general directed her back to her deposition, where she said she didn't because of an arrangement with Montgomery. She also said she stopped using a department vehicle when she got herself a new car. During cross-examination, she was asked about the relationship she has with the kids. She cried as she described how she is essentially their grandmother in her eyes. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This year's State of Lung Cancer report put out by the American Lung Association provides a bit of optimism in the battle against this leading cause of cancer-related death in the United States.
The American Lung Association's Dr. Juanita Mora.
We're seeing progress when it comes to lung cancer. Looking at the last 5 years of data, we know that 5-year survival has increased to 26%.
And she says not only are doctors detecting lung cancer earlier in a way that makes it more likely to be curable, more people are getting screened for it. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
That news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It is 6:34. We've got your money report coming up next.
Have you set your appointment up yet to have your furnace checked to make sure you are good and ready to go for this winter? It's really, really a great idea to have it done for your own peace of mind and for your safety also. Definitely check your furnace before you use it. You can go to my website. It's bartinman.com, and we'll have pictures up of what we've seen and what we've seen and found that the homeowners had no clue that this danger existed. Most have no idea what I'm talking about now, but if you went to the website, if you're not going to have me come out or another company come out and check, then you'll know what to look for on your furnace and hot water heater also. So my number, again, it's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. The easiest number, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com, Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
It's 6:35. Time for your money report, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Wall Street was rocked by wild swings in Thursday's trading. After soaring with an early surge of 1.9%, the S&P 500 erased all of that and fell 1%. NVIDIA initially appeared to tamp down worries about a bubble for AI stocks, but it ended the day with a loss of over 3%. The last time the overall stock market had swings that severe was in April. Add one more to the number of Federal Reserve officials signaling fresh discomfort over inflation. Fed Governor Michael Barr says the central bank needs to proceed with caution in considering additional interest rate cuts. And OpenAI is partnering with Hancock Precision Industry to design and manufacture hardware for data centers. It's the latest move by the ChatGPT maker to meet its surging need for infrastructure to support artificial intelligence systems. Hancock is also known as Foxconn. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
This holiday, give the gift that lasts all season long. Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now, starting at 5, 6, and 10 games. All packs include 2026's top games and favorite giveaways. Backed by popular demand, choose from the opening day pack or the bobblehead pack. Check out the Cubs pack, weekend pack, or apparel pack. There's a pack for everyone. Find your perfect gift right now at cardinals.com/tickets.
The holidays come and go, but Cardinals baseball lasts all season long. This year, give the gift of all-inclusive tickets, featuring a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views at Busch Stadium. Enjoy great food, good times, and every moment of the action. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Coca-Cola Scoreboard Patio, and more. Make your holidays brighter with all-inclusive tickets, on sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you could get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Sunday, the Chiefs are back at Arrowhead to face the Colts.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 12 noon. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Chiefs, the Colts. Sunday on your home for Chiefs football. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Signs of concern. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Flu season is here, and it could be a nasty one, as a mutated strain of the virus is surging around the world.
It's flu season, and people need to take it very seriously. Last year, there were 280 pediatric deaths, and 90% of those children who died were unvaccinated.
CBS News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. John LaPook.
We are using the same technology from the 1940s, where we identify the virus. We pick strains, 3 of them, in February or March. And that's because we have to grow up the virus in eggs. It takes like 5 or 6 months to make the batch. So we have to make a guess there. This year, over the summer, it mutated. It changed away. And one particular strain called H3N2, which tends to cause more severe illness. And the question is there going to be a mismatch? Right now, there is hope that with this current batch that we have, that it's still good enough.
The CDC recommends everyone 6 months and older, with rare exceptions, should get a flu shot. With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
It is now 6:40. Good morning and happy Friday. We do have some not the greatest weather for you this morning, and hopefully that's not going to cause too many issues on your ride in. Let's get the latest from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are in good shape with just one exception as far as troubles go, Debbie, and that's going to be 55 northbound. We have that jam northbound 55 coming into 67. It's bumper to bumper, and from there it's slow midway up to McNutt. We had an earlier crash there, and then 55 back up both directions. Southbound's, of course, pretty short, but northbound jams from just north of the Union Road overpass up to Holly Hills, so we have a crash there right now as well. Northbound 270 slow. Tesson Ferry through Gravois, Doherty Ferry up through Manchester. Southbound 61 a little busy at Wentzville Parkway. If you're on Highway 64 or 5570 downtown westbound, they still look good headed across the bridges, and the rest of the interstates are moving pretty well so far. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by the Moolah Shrine Center Festival of Trees.
Hello, everyone. I want to invite you to the Moolah Festival of Trees. Come see over 40 of the best decorated trees you'll ever see. Adult tickets are only $2, and kids under 12 are free. November 22nd through the 29th at the Moolah Shrine Center.
It is a wet morning out there. Let's get the latest now from AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
And it's a rainy morning indeed, Megan, and we're going to see that rain continue for several more hours before it becomes much lighter in nature as we go into the midday, and especially this afternoon, much more intermittent. Our high really going nowhere, 55. Bit of rain and drizzle the first part of tonight. The clouds will linger late tonight, a low 43, but drier air quickly comes in tomorrow. The clouds will give way to sunshine in short order, and the afternoon should be beautiful with that sunshine, the high 59. A mostly sunny day on Sunday, the high 64. Then the clouds come back Monday, and there'll be a couple of showers around throughout the day, the high 56. The risk of showers continues through Tuesday, the high 62. Then it turns much chillier for Wednesday and Thanksgiving Day. 53 at St. Peter's, 54 in Florissant, 54 and raining downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
4 straight losses for the St. Louis Blues and another blown lead. We'll break it down coming up in sports in 2 minutes.
It is 6:42. The trial to remove the St. Louis City Sheriff resumes today. Yesterday, a sheriff's employee was moved to tears trying to answer questions about using department vehicles to drive Alfred Montgomery's kids around. Her testimony did not align with her deposition. The sheriff's attorney was also shouted down by the judge.
The state of Missouri officially trying to collect $24 billion from the Chinese government. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says a mandatory waiting period has passed that allows her office to enforce that huge judgment regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Hanaway says Missouri intends to hold the Chinese government accountable by seizing assets that could include farmland in the state.
St. Louis voters may get the final say on whether tax dollars can be spent on a bus line instead of on Metrolink. A new bill asks taxpayers to expand the use of the Prop 1 sales tax, which was originally passed in 2017 specifically for light rail.
You can't separate KMOX and the Cardinals. The history is entwined. KMOX's massive signal and top-tier broadcasters introducing new fans to Cardinal baseball, and the Cards bringing large audiences to the radio station. John Rooney, Randy Carricker, and Mike Claiborne talked about that history during our 100th anniversary celebration yesterday.
Because of your background in your childhood, how much does it mean to you to be the voice of the Cardinals?
Well, it means a lot to be a Cardinal broadcaster, and something I always wanted to do. But look at the broadcasters that we've had here, where you had Jack Buck, who is a Ford Frick Award winner. Mike Shannon should have already been a Ford Frick Award winner. Bob Starr was a terrific announcer, one of the best football announcers I ever heard, but really, really good on baseball, too. And then you go back before that, Joe Garagiola was here. And, of course, Harry. I listened to Harry and Jack doing the Cardinals, and in 1984, that's when I became a Cardinal fan. And I love that 64 team where it's the all-broadcast team. You had Euchre and McCarver, broadcasters. Bill White, a great broadcaster with the Yankees, and one of my teammates on CBS Radio when I got to work with Bill.
Dick Grote was a broadcaster?
He did a lot of basketball, and, of course, he was the leading scorer at Duke in NCAA basketball, but did Pittsburgh basketball for a long time. And then Lou Brock did broadcasting. Bob Gibson did broadcasting. You had Mike Shannon, and I think Kurt Flood did a little broadcasting too, I think in Oakland.
He did in Oakland, yes.
That's amazing. By the way, here on KMOX, you were one of the people that nurtured a young broadcaster, Dan Deerdorf. He wasn't a really young guy. But I remember the Mizzou game. I don't even remember where you guys were, where he was going to jump out of the booth.
Oh, yeah. If Missouri scores here, I'm jumping out of the booth. And I think they scored. But thank goodness he stayed in the booth.
Yeah.
And, what fun that was.
From sports to talk to news, we've got 10 hours of 100th anniversary conversation for you right now at KMOX.com.
Good morning, I'm Brian Feldman filling in for Tom Ackerman. Make that 4 straight losses for the Blues and another blown lead. Up 2-0 last night to Philadelphia. They fall 3-2 in overtime. That's the second time in a week the Blues have blown a lead against the Flyers and lost. Justin Falk scores twice in the first period, but that's all the offense the Blues can get. They're now 6-9-6 on the season. Only Nashville's doing worse in the Central Division. NFL action last night. Houston defeats Buffalo 23-19 to improve to 6-5 on the year. The Texans' defense sacks Bills quarterback Josh Allen 8 times and forces 3 turnovers. Buffalo falls to 7-4. Down in college, big matchup for Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou this weekend. The 23rd-ranked Tigers face number 8 Oklahoma in Norman. Kickoff 11 a.m. tomorrow. Mizzou's dropped all 3 games this season against ranked opponents, Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. ESPN does report quarterback Bo Pribula will be upgraded from doubtful to questionable. He dislocated his ankle against Vanderbilt October 25th and has not played since. College hoops. The Mizzou men takes down South Dakota 102-68 last night in Columbia. The Tigers still unbeaten this season at 6-0. Mark Mitchell leads the team with 22 points. Javon Porter adds 19 on perfect 9-for-9 shooting. South Carolina State up next for Mizzou. In college soccer, SLU beats Kentucky 2-1 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Billikens fall behind early, but tie it up with a goal from Jack DiMaria in the 86th minute, then take the lead on another goal from DiMaria in the 104th. SLU advances to the second round, where it'll face number 6 Indiana this Sunday at 11 a.m. in Bloomington. And the Maryville University women also advancing in the NCAA tournament after the Saints beat Northwood 1-0 yesterday in the first round. They'll now face the 8th seed Cedarville in the second round. That match Saturday at 2 p.m. Cedarville shocked the number 1 seed Grand Valley State in its first round matchup. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital,
every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the Holiday Food Drive. While supplies last, stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign or to make an online donation, head to KMOX.com/events.
Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is now 6:50. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, this traffic report is service of Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. 55 is the only place we've had backups this morning, and it's more of just a slowdown now. Northbound 55 approaching 67 and A midway up to McNutt. So that was an earlier crash. There was a stall that they were dealing with on 55 at Holly Hills southbound. It looks like maybe they cleared it southbound, not bad, but northbound still has a solid jam from almost the Union Road overpass up into that Holly Hills, Virginia area right now. Northbound 270 approaching Gravois up to 44. That's slow. Eastbound 64 a little busy at Prospect. Eastbound 70 A to Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's a couple of spots where it's bogging down. South 170 looks a little heavy past the Parkway. The Illinois side, drivers are doing okay. It's just a little crowded approaching the Poplar Street Bridge westbound right now. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still raining, and we do have a dense fog advisory until 9 a.m. today. The heaviest rain will be this morning, but we could see more later on in the day, a high of 55. A bit of rain and drizzle early tonight, then cloudy overnight, a low of 43. Right now, rainfall 53 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelley because they're open till 8. JerryKelley.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelley.
It is 6:51. One person is dead after an officer-involved shooting inside Terminal 1 at Lambert International Airport. The shooting closed the Metrolink station at Terminal 1 after the shooting took place around 1 a.m. Everything is back open now as St. Louis County Police have wrapped up their investigation. We get more from Fox 2's Chris Renier.
We are inside Terminal 1 here at Lambert, and the terminal is functioning. Operations were not impacted by this deadly officer-involved shooting early this morning. County Police also confirming for us that their investigative scene, which was down Terminal 1 from where we are, has cleared. They are now in their investigative stage. That area has now returned to normal.
An investigation underway after a security guard shoots and critically injures a shoplifting suspect. St. Louis police say around 12:30 Wednesday afternoon, the shoplifter went into Aldi's on Natural Bridge and refused to leave. The 43-year-old suspect had been banned from the store in the past. When the guard asked him to leave, he refused. Police say he went for something in his waistband, and the guard shot him. A knife was found. The suspect is in critical condition.
Today is day 3 of the trial to remove the St. Louis City Sheriff from office. Sean Malone has been in the courtroom.
Sheriff's Major Lee Stokes testified he discouraged Alfred Montgomery from arresting Deputy Jail Commissioner Tammy Ross, but Montgomery insisted he would and did anyway. Stokes says he was retaliated against by Montgomery after speaking to the feds. It only got worse when he went to HR because a disciplinary hearing with Sheriff's Attorney David Mason was called. While being cross-examined by Mason, Stokes said the only reason the meeting never happened is is because he argued with Mason for an hour and a half until he canceled, adding he doesn't trust Mason or the disciplinary board. After Mason made the line of questioning about himself, Judge Omer's patience ran out. He began shouting at Mason, asking, "Who is this about, you or the sheriff?" impressing on him, quote, "If you want to represent this man, do so." Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The American Lung Association says its latest report finds some wins in the battle against lung cancer. KMOX health editor Fred Bottomer reports.
Dr. Juanita Mora with the American Lung Association says the 2025 State of Lung Cancer report finds not only are doctors detecting lung cancer earlier in a way that makes it more likely to be curable, more people are getting screened for it. She says you should be screened if you have ever smoked, if you quit in the last few years, or if you have a history of secondhand smoke inhalation. The report says lung cancer can often be treated with surgery if it's found early and hasn't spread. Lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Car repossessions have risen sharply in recent years. I'm Ted Rossman with the Bankrate Personal Finance Minute. According to Cox Automotive, vehicle repossessions have surged 43% since 2022. Over the past 2 years, more than 3 million vehicles were repossessed in the U.S. If you miss a car payment or two, you could find yourself in this situation. Record high vehicle prices, record high insurance costs, and elevated interest rates are all contributing. If you can't afford your monthly payments, start by asking your lender for a break. If you're experiencing a temporary hardship, such as unemployment or a natural disaster, the lender might be willing to give you a little grace. If your car has already been repossessed, call your lender to confirm where it's being held and what your next steps may be. Contact your insurance agent as well. Finally, start rebuilding your finances. Research what you can realistically afford before getting another car, including a cushion for insurance and maintenance. A repossession is serious, but how you respond can limit the damage and move toward recovery. For more, check out Bankrate.com. I'm Ted Rossman.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout-out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family-owned and top-rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Celebrity birthdays for this Friday, November 21st, include actress Goldie Hawn. She's 80 years old. This is from the 1969 comedy Cactus Flower.
I've made up my mind, Julian. We're through. I've decided I want a man of my own, exclusively. No more going halfsies.
Democratic Senator Dick Durbin of Illinois celebrating his 81st birthday today. Gospel musician Stephen Curtis Chapman is 63, and this pop singer is 40 years old.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
That is singer Carly Rae Jepsen, 40 years old, with Call Me Maybe.
Well, thanks for that earworm today, Megan. Local celebrity birthdays include Connie Haslett of Belleville, Emily Edgell, Andy Kinder from the Winchell family, Jackie Sykes, and Sue Miller.
This is the best birthday ever.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ETHOS.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your online traffic. So this Black Friday, get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Join in the festivities as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Beethoven's Seventh, Energy and Reverie. Sparks of energy will fly across Powell Hall in this spirited Thanksgiving weekend event featuring one of Beethoven's personal favorites, his blazing, boisterous 7th Symphony. Pianist Joyce Yang joins to give her interpretation of Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a theme of Paganini, November 29th and 30th. Tickets at slso.org.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
It's now 6:59. A check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, northbound 55 looks better down south, Megan. It's just a little busy into 67, not bad, but we're still bumper-to-bumper jammed from just north of the Union Road overpass all the way up through Loughborough. There's a stall at Holly Hills southbound in the left lane, so northbound drivers can see it. They open up once you get through there. The southbound jam just back to about Bates, so it's a very short duration if you're going southbound, thankfully, but northbound is being impacted by it, unfortunately. Eastbound 64 Prospect into Lake St. Louis Boulevard, slow. It's a little busy between Hanley and Big Bend. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, A and through to about Bryan Road and K to TR Hughes, seeing a lot more volume. Again, it's just a slowdown, not a jam, but it is busier along that stretch. Downtown, we're still doing okay with 64 coming through Greenmount and across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges. Still no delays for you there. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A video from 6 Democratic lawmakers to members of the military is stirring up political waters.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
President Trump has accused those lawmakers of sedition, a crime he says is, quote, punishable by death. Correspondent Ed O'Keefe is at the White House.
Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan said she received hundreds of threats.
I'm not going to shut up because Donald Trump is threatening me.
While the president posted several times about arresting and trying lawmakers for seditious acts, the White House later clarified he doesn't want to execute members of Congress.
Those Democratic lawmakers say they are beefing up their security. President Trump is scheduled to meet with New York City's incoming Democratic Socialist mayor today. Zohran Mamdani says he has a lot to talk about.
That's an opportunity I have to make the case to President Trump, to the White House, as to what it means to have to suffer through this affordability crisis.
The White House spokeswoman calls Mamdani a communist. The Coast Guard is again classifying swastikas and nooses as hate symbols.
That was the agency's stand for years until last week when it issued a policy document calling those symbols potentially divisive. Yesterday, the Washington Post reported the change. Hours later, the Coast Guard issued a new memorandum that again calls swastikas, nooses, and flags adopted by hate-based groups as prohibited hate symbols. The Coast Guard says those symbols undermine unit cohesion. One Coast Guard official told the Post the agency doesn't deserve the trust of the nation if it's unclear about the divisiveness of swastikas. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
A powerful storm that dumped heavy rain is stirring up painful memories in Texas Hill Country. Road closures and flash flood warnings in Menard are a stark reminder of the deadly flooding that killed 27 children and counselors at Camp Mystic in July. County Commissioner Tyler Wright.
We've got Christmas decorations set up. That stuff is in the heart of the floodway, and that stuff's going to, it's going to be gone more than likely.
Water levels there have begun to drop. Researchers say many cases of lung cancer are being missed under current screening guidelines. CBS's Michael George has more.
A study from Northwestern Medicine found that the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force guidelines exclude 2/3 of patients, especially women and people who have never smoked. Researchers suggest new guidelines that expand screening for people aged 40 to 85.
Dow futures are up 313. S&P futures ahead 33. NAS futures up 103. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At 7:04, we do have rain, 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, November 21st. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. One person is dead after an officer-involved shooting inside Terminal 1 at St. Louis Lambert International Airport. That shooting closed the Metrolink station at Terminal 1. The shooting took place about 1 o'clock this morning. Everything is back open now as St. Louis County Police have wrapped up their investigation. We get more from Fox 2's Chris Renier.
We saw St. Louis County Police authorities walking beyond those barricades earlier. That seemed to be the focus of their attention. There was crime scene tape up in that area as well. To orient you, that is immediately by where the American Airlines ticket counter is. What we have confirmed at this point from St. Louis County Police is that about 1 o'clock this morning, there was an officer-involved shooting inside Terminal 1 here involving airport police that left one person dead.
A St. Louis charter school is on probation.
A child wandering out of the building unnoticed was just the tip of the iceberg at St. Louis Voices Academy. The state commission has placed the school on probation, citing significant safety failures, including a lack of emergency drills and staff who didn't know how to exit during a real fire alarm. Now the school faces a do-or-die deadline. The board has to submit a comprehensive safety plan by 5 p.m. on Monday. If they fail, students will be barred from returning on December 1st, and the state could move to revoke the charter entirely. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The sheriff's employee who transported the sheriff, Alfred Montgomery's children, in a department vehicle to and from school took the stand in the trial that could cost him his job.
Barb Shavers struggled to remember key details, like how many times she transported the sheriff's kids in a department vehicle, but admitting it was over 10 times. She also had a hard time with why she did not track her hours, which would show whether or not she transported the kids during work time. After claiming she did not because she lacked access to the employee system, attorneys general reminded her of her deposition where she said she was told not to by Montgomery. The cross-examination focused on her relationship with his kids. Tears quickly welled up in her eyes as she recounted how she is the pseudo-grandmother of these children. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
This year's State of Lung Cancer report put out by the American Lung Association provides a bit of optimism in the battle against this leading cause of cancer-related death in the United States.
The American Lung Association's Dr. Juanita Mora.
We're seeing progress when it comes to lung cancer. Looking at the last 5 years of data, we know that 5-year survival has increased to 26%.
And she says not only are doctors detecting lung cancer earlier in a way that makes it more likely to be curable, more people are getting screened for it. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. A world of technology experts descending on St. Louis this week.
At the Dome at America Center, more than 17,000 are attending the International Conference for High Performance Computing. On the SC25 exhibit floor, supercomputers and experts for miles.
People using the biggest computers in the world to solve the world's biggest problems.
I spoke with Dan Olds, who's a researcher and industry analyst.
This type of computing is used by everybody from the national labs to aerospace, but all the way down to consumer products.
The main chatter here at SC25 is not just the future of artificial intelligence, but how hot the machines are getting when they run their equations. I witnessed a demonstration where an entire motherboard of circuitry was encased in a clear cooling liquid. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
It's now 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very good friend John Moriarty from E3 Wealth. John and I go back years and years and years. John, it's great to have you back in the DGS fold. Tell everyone who's unfamiliar with E3 Wealth what you guys are all about.
Thanks, Dave. I'm so happy to be back. E3, the 3 E's stand for Educate, Empower, Enlighten. We founded the firm, and sometimes we refer to it as E3 Consultants Group, because we want to proactively challenge the status quo as to how Americans are educated about money and finance-related decisions. It's a lot. So really what we try to do for our clients is help them think differently about money. And recently we've been doing a ton of things with business owners because we see that as an area where we can provide tremendous growth for them, because we can help them build wealth through their business and also reduce their income tax liabilities. And when you can do that for a business owner, it makes a huge difference in their life.
It's kind of one-stop shopping for all finances, personal and business.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our focus. That's what we're attempting to do with our new book that's coming out called The Entrepreneur Playbook. We're going to be able to help a lot of people understand strategies, ideas on how to build their wealth and also protect it.
So John is a total pro, completely vouch for him as a person. Love this guy. No pressure, no hard sales. You want to learn more about your finances, personal and business, reach out to John at e3wealth.com.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Let's get you caught up on your ride in this morning. It's been a rainy Friday morning so far. The weather forecast on the way at 7:10. And here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Not bad overall for the most part, Debbie, thankfully, because lighter volume on a Friday helps, I'm sure. But we do have a backup right now on northbound 55 from Bayless up and through the Holly Hills area in pockets, bumper to bumper. We had a stall at Holly Hills earlier. I believe it's cleared, but that's what's left over on northbound 55. North 270 doesn't look bad. There's a little slowdown just north of Tesson Ferry, right around Gravois. Southbound 270 just a little heavy at 64, so no big deal there. Eastbound 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard's a little slow. Eastbound 70, Bryan Road into T.R. Hughes, just kind of bogged down the whole way through there. Southbound 61, southbound 79, both look good coming out of Lincoln County for you. Downtown, we're still good to go. Westbound across the Poplar and Muswell Veterans Bridges, 64 through Greenmount looks okay. And one other crash on the secondaries, that's Etherton at Centaur out at the west end of Spirit Airport in the Chesterfield Valley. Maybe some lane restrictions there while they deal with that. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Some fog in places this morning. Otherwise, it's going to be rainy today, and that rain will be steadiest and heaviest through the morning hours before becoming much more intermittent and lighter in nature this afternoon. Watch for a slow morning commute because of this rain, a high 55. Bit of leftover rain and drizzle early tonight, and then remaining cloudy late at night, though 43. Those clouds will give way to lots of sunshine with time tomorrow, the high 59. Sunday, mostly sunny and a bit milder, high 64. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Rainy skies, 54 degrees now downtown at the Arch.
Another loss for the Blues, another blown lead. That's 4 straight losses. I'm Brian Feldman. We'll break it down in sports at 7:15.
The news continues at 7:12. The state of Missouri is officially trying to collect $24 billion from the Chinese government. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says a mandatory waiting period has passed that allows her office to enforce a huge judgment regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Hanaway says Missouri intends to hold the Chinese government accountable by seizing assets that could include farmland in Missouri.
St. Louis voters may get the final say on whether tax dollars can be spent on a bus line instead of Metrolink. A new bill asks taxpayers to expand the use of the Prop 1 sales tax. It was originally passed in 2017 specifically for light rail.
Fort Leonard Wood is preparing a massive culinary operation next week. The installation plans to serve more than 28,000 meals on Thanksgiving Day. They'll go through nearly 5,000 pounds of turkey, more than 6,000 pounds of prime rib. Veterans, retirees, and Gold Star families with base access are invited to join the meal from 12:30 to 2.
The greats of KMOX Pass got together during a 10-hour on-the-air marathon yesterday to celebrate our 100th anniversary. We had co-hosts from different eras sharing the studio, such as Dave Glover and John Carney.
A lot of my life, and especially during my career, I would hear from people who criticize KMOX and say, oh, it's so boring, it's so old, it's so this, it's so that. And even before my career took off, I would tell them, you could not be more wrong. That in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, what KMOX was doing with Jack and with White and Hardy, that was edgy. It was funny. It was edgy. It was sort of the edgy radio of its time. Do you agree with that, John?
Oh, absolutely. And I think, like my pop, and I didn't set out to do this, but all of the great names and the pioneers of this station, Dad stood out as the one that wasn't really connected to the events of the day and heavy news and let's talk about politics and whatever the equivalent of the Epstein list was. It was like more stories about, so a whale goes into a bank. And it didn't really fit what Highland's vision was, which is why Dad was in trouble a lot. But he made money and he had listeners. So they're like, okay, you do that. And I didn't set out to do that. I was going to be a psychotherapist or a music therapist or something like that. He said, don't go into radio. And I'm like, hello, broadcast center? And that's how that began.
By defying your dad.
Having that 44-state reach and taking 5 hours of phone calls from all over the country was just a blast.
I bet.
I loved it.
I bet.
I loved it.
That is Dave Glover and John Carney. KMOX.com and KMOX podcasts are where you can find much, much more from our 10-hour marathon celebration yesterday of KMOX's 100th anniversary. It is 7:15.
Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman filling in for Tom Ackerman. The Blues drop another one, up 2-0 on the Flyers last night in Philadelphia. They blow the lead and fall 3-2 in overtime. That's now 4 straight losses. Justin Falk scores both goals in the first period, giving the Blues a commanding early lead. But goaltender Joel Hofer allows one in the second, the equalizer in the third, and the game winner with a minute to play in OT. It's the second time in a week the Flyers have done this to the Blues. Last Friday, Philadelphia overcame deficits of 1-0, 3-1, and 5-3 to win in a shootout at Enterprise Center. The Blues now 6-9-6 on the season. Only Nashville's doing worse in the Central Division. College hoops, the Mizzou men takes down South Dakota 102-68 last night in Columbia. The Tigers still unbeaten this season at 6-0. Mark Mitchell leads the team with 22 points. Tonight, the 4-0 St. Louis University Billikens at home facing Purdue Fort Wayne. The Bills coming off a 14-point win over Grand Canyon. Amari McCautry leading the way with over 17 points per game so far this season. Tip-off from Chaffetz, 7 o'clock. And tomorrow, number 8 Illinois faces Long Island University at 1 o'clock in Champaign. The Illini coming off a 4-point loss to number 11 Alabama on Wednesday. In soccer, SLU beats Kentucky 2-1 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Billikens fall behind early, but tie it up with a goal from Jack DiMaria in the 86th minute, then take the lead on another goal from DiMaria in the 104th. SLU advances to the second round, where it'll face number 6 Indiana. That match this Sunday, 11 a.m. in Bloomington. And the Maryville University women also advancing in the NCAA tournament. This after the Saints beat Northwood 1-0 yesterday in the first round. They'll now face the 8th seed Cedarville in the second round of the NCAA tournament. That match Saturday at 2. Cedarville shocked the number 1 seed Grand Valley State in its own first-round matchup. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
Hey there, it's Steven, the owner of the Photo Pros, formerly Creve Coeur Camera. Each day, people bring us their family history, single photos in need of restoration, piles of photos wanting them to be scanned, boxes of slides, albums, videotapes, DVDs, and even old home movies. We take them and digitize them, or what we call scan them at high resolution, and place them on a USB thumb drive. Plus, many people want additional copies for the rest of the family. Yes, we'll make you copies. Here's the best part. You don't have to send them out of St. Louis and have a chance of losing them. If needed, we can fix or restore the entire image or images. We are slightly higher priced than the internet, but our quality is top notch. Remember the Photo Pros, formerly Creve Coeur Camera. Come visit Mark, Derek, Daryl, Tony, and me, Steven, at our store. You can reach us at 314-567-3456 or Google the Photo Pros or even Creve Coeur Camera.
You could think you found your dream home online. The kitchen island looks perfect for your inner chef. The backyard, a paradise for your green thumb. And that extra room, hello walk-in closet. But here's the twist. The lot next door just got rezoned for years of construction. And this sound, yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot of that. Don't let your dream home turn into a nightmare. Work with the expertise and ethical training of a Realtor, here to guide and help protect you from the surprises you didn't see coming. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors, right by you.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:19. Let's get a check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger, is the rain causing problems?
It has up a couple of times, Megan. It hasn't been bad overall. Lighter volume on a Friday certainly helps. There's fewer cars to run into each other, I guess. But right now we're looking at is some rain-slowed traffic around the area in general. 55 a little heavy into 67. It's slow south of Butler Hill to 270 in the right lanes. There is a jam from Bayless just up to River to Pear, and then it thins out. We had an earlier incident up on Holly Hills. North 270 from 55 through Gravway midway to 44 slow, but after that it doesn't look bad. South 270, just the ramp lanes at 64 are a little busy. It really, again, is not bad there. Had an incident on eastbound 70, a crash near TR Hughes. I think they moved it to the shoulder, but stop and go pockets from Bryan Road into that one. Eastbound 64 slow between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, coming around the bend between 94 and Research Park. Westbound 64, Bellevue to Hanley, starting to see a little slow traffic. The Parkway to Brentwood a little busy on South 170. Westbound 64 still looks good. 5570, no delays coming across the downtown bridges for Illinois drivers. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather today is not going to be too bad. The steadiest and heaviest rain is this morning. And we could see some fog as well, a dense fog advisory officially until 9 this morning. 55 degrees will be our high. And then clouds giving way to plenty of sunshine tomorrow and Sunday. 59 degrees tomorrow, Sunday 64 degrees. Currently in downtown St. Louis, it is 53 degrees.
The news continues at 7:21. And yesterday, we remembered the late co-host of Total Information AM, Nan Wyatt, during our 100th anniversary on-air marathon. Nan, of course, murdered by her husband in 2003. I was in the studio with Bill Reeker, Carol Daniel, and Kevin Killeen as we talked about Nan.
I anchored with her that morning before her death.
Oh, my.
I was the last person to anchor with her. I don't know why Doug McKelvin was out. And the last thing she said as she left the newsroom was, nice hanging out with you, Bill. And, of course, the next morning, Megan Lynch was called in because Doug couldn't do it. And so Megan and I pretty much anchored the next morning. We finally got Doug on the phone, but he was not in any condition to be.
I remember my brother called me at home and said, "Are you watching the news?" And I said no, and I hung up, and then Tom Langmeyer called me and told me what happened, and I didn't know at the time that he had to go, if I'm correct. he had to go and identify her
Yeah.
body.
Because I had just gotten back to the newsroom from covering the county council that night, and the phone rang, and it was a detective from St. Louis County. And he said to me, I'm sorry to tell you this. We need to find someone that can identify someone. And he told me, we believe Nan Wyatt has been killed. And so I called Tom Langmeyer, and I still feel bad, like that Tom was the one that had to go identify her. You know, and I just remember that night that, you know, all of us were trying to, it was just unreal.
Trying to process it.
And then we had to go on with the story because the TV stations were starting to report it. And so we had to get something out there. And I just remember I was there. I was the one that was there reading that story about what had happened, you know. And I mean, when you're talking about someone who's your mentor,
right,
you know, and who you look up to, and, you know, thinking of those last moments that you spent with somebody. And, you know, Nan was, she was a force. She was an absolute force of nature. And I remember, like, she did not give out too much praise. You know, like, she'd tell you thank you for helping her, but you had to do something pretty phenomenal to earn her praise. And I remember election night, I had gone out in the field to cover it. And the next day she came up to me and she took me by both my arms, like, which for Nan was a very personal thing. Like, she wasn't like a touchy-feely kind of person. And she looked me in the eye and she said, "You did a great job on that. It made me think of me as a young reporter."
Oh, wow.
And I remember that night, like, having to tell listeners about Nan being gone, you know, and thinking, you know, that was the memory that I will always hold of her, you know, that I earned her praise at one point.
I remember we had so many conversations about our sons, and she had so many questions. Again, a woman who, she said to me, did not think she was going to be a mother, and then had a child. And this son, she had so many questions about how he was learning and things that were happening, and she needed to get him more help. And all of our conversations, we were not talking about news. We were talking about motherhood, and which was, to the casual observer, this strong-willed journalist, her main concern was about her son. And when she was killed, I don't know if you all, did you meet with a therapist? Because
I did.
I did too. They brought in a therapist, and I will never forget what she said to me was, as a journalist, you're going to have questions, you're going to try to make sense of it, and you are not going to be able to. And to this day, I can't. That just a month earlier, she loved Mary Engelbreit, and she wrote a note on that calendar, MLK Day, on a Mary Engelbreit calendar, wrote a note to me. I'm not necessarily going to share what the note said, but it was a motivational, inspirational note to me, and then she was gone. And my funny story about Nan is she's the reason I go to art fairs and buy jewelry.
I can still hear her high heels coming down those travertine floors at One Memorial.
And remember, she would always have beautiful, unique jewelry, a unique blazer. And I remember asking her one time, "Where did you get that?" She goes, "Go to art fairs. There's always someone working in textiles at art fairs." And I didn't grow up going to art fairs, and I started going to art fairs because of Nan Wyatt and looking for the jeweler in the bunch.
Well, she was a fine human being and a great newswoman.
That was Kevin Killeen, along with Megan Lynch, Carol Daniel, and Bill Reeker on the late Nan Wyatt. We had 10 hours of stories and past voices, and if you missed any of it or want to hear it again, just go to KMOX.com and search under podcasts. It's 7:27, and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up. Missouri, the wait is almost over. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, going live December 1st. But you don't have to wait until then to sign up, because if you join today, you'll get an early sign-up bonus. You can get started with $400 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From live betting to same-game parlays, FanDuel is the best place to bet on all your favorite teams, sports, and players. FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. 21 or over and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Early sign-up $100 offer. Bonus bets expire 30 days after FanDuel accepts its first real money sports wager in Missouri. Unique user identity verification required. Post-launch $300 offer. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms for both offers at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Just a quick question. Does it encrypt your online traffic the same as NordVPN?
No, but it protects your device. Just pop that CD in and you're good to go.
But it will stop your internet service provider and other snoopers from monitoring you online, right?
Oh, no, not really. It won't stop online snoopers or block annoying ads. In fact, forget what I said at the beginning of this ad. This ad is now about NordVPN. I just realized that an antivirus is only half protection online. So get better online protection with the NordVPN Black Friday deal. It will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. This Black Friday, get NordVPN with 73% off and enjoy 3 extra months. Yeah!
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Staples presents An Easy Holiday.
Running a small business during the holidays is hard.
No truer words were.
But this year, Staples helped me have an easy holiday.
Your script has a typo.
Nope, easy peasy. I just ordered online at staples.com and picked up in store. And with UPS on site, shipping was easy too. Plus, huge savings on tech, custom cards, even my holiday sale signage.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com today for up to 45% off select laptops.
That was easy.
Ins 12/27.
It is now 7:30, and we've still got a little bit of drizzle. It's overcast and 53 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Megan Lynch. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got some slow going, Megan. Northbound 55 approaching 67. The right lane's bogged down south of Butler Hill up to 270. Backed up from Bayless through Weber, and then it starts picking up the pace. Once you get on to North 270 from 55, just generally slow up to about 44. Manchester up through Clayton Road, and then it's in better shape. South 270, a couple of slow spots between Olive and 64. Really not that bad running that route. Eastbound 70 looks better. We had that crash at TR Hughes. They cleared it. It's still heavy. Lake St. Louis most of the way to K, and then east of K to TR Hughes. So pretty much that whole way through, just slow traffic, not jammed. If you're on eastbound 64, a little busy east of Winghaven. Some slow stuff between Clarkson and Timberlake. McKnight into Big Bend's pretty busy. Westbound 64, Hampton and Hanley, again, just a general slowdown there. And it's just a little busy. Eastbound 44 past the Poplar, and westbound 64 just a touch slow on the Poplar Street Bridge, but really not bad. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be a rainy day, but most of the steady heavy rain is this morning, and fog advisory until 9. Otherwise, just overcast, 55 today, but the clouds are going to clear out, and we'll have sunshine Saturday, 59, 64 on Sunday. It's 53 now.
In the news, a police shooting at St. Louis Lambert International Airport has left a man armed with a knife dead.
The shooting happened just after 1 a.m. inside Terminal 1. St. Louis County detectives are doing the investigation. Department spokeswoman Vera Clay says airport officers were clearing an area where people were not supposed to be when they were confronted by a man armed with a knife.
Less lethal was used. They did tase him first. You tried to use a taser. That individual continued to advance towards officers, and a second officer did fire his service weapon, injuring the suspect, and unfortunately, that suspect is deceased.
Clay told Fox 2 they don't believe the suspect was at the airport to board a plane. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
And no officers were injured in that confrontation with the suspect.
Don't forget to set out those canned goods for the Boy Scouts tomorrow. Tom Krenning is director of program development for the Greater St. Louis Area Council Scouting America.
We would love to hit that 2 million mark. That's been kind of our average. And so just to stay on pace with that would be fantastic.
Krenning tells KMOX there is need every year, but this year in particular.
Could a 50-year mortgage make buying a home easier? President Trump has proposed the idea to lower monthly payments. Jeff Jones, Associate Dean at the College of Business at Missouri State University, says people would be paying a tremendous amount of interest.
It's an even greater piece of that payment that is dedicated towards paying interest. So for me, that is the biggest concern with a 50-year mortgage would be the fact that homeowners might pay on that loan for many, many years and really build very little equity in the home.
An economist for the National Association of Realtors says for some, it could be a way into the market, but only with a clear plan to refinance or sell later. The Missouri Realtors Association has not weighed in on the issue.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. If you don't like the way it looks outside right now, it will clear up a little bit. The steadiest, heaviest rain is this morning, and we do have a dense fog advisory in effect until 9 this morning. It's going to be 55 degrees today, but get ready because we'll have sunshine for Saturday and Sunday, and it warms up a little as well. The weather sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. It's a win-win, so what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
7:36, time for your money report. It's sponsored by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A dramatic reversal in stocks yesterday underscored how NVIDIA's blowout earnings failed to deliver the all-clear. An early surge in stocks at the open evaporated quickly. The S&P 500 climbed as much as 1.9% of the first hour before ending the day down 1.5%. And this morning, to conclude the week, futures indicate a mixed open. Bitcoin has now shed about a quarter of its value in November, the most for a single month since June of 2022. Despite a pro-crypto White House and surging institutional adoption, Bitcoin has plummeted over 30% since rocketing to a record in early October. And adding to market angst this morning, persistent uncertainty over whether the Fed will cut interest rates next month. Right now, traders are pricing in only a 30% chance. Fed Governor Michael Barr says the central bank needs to proceed with caution. And I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Chesterfield Valley Nursery invites you to make your own live holiday decor this year in our Winter Planter class happening on November 22nd. Sign up today on our website or Facebook. Learn how to put together a live evergreen porch planter. Registration required. Spots fill up fast. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com. That's November 22nd. ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com to register.
This is Amy Mark Scores, chair of this year's Red Kettle campaign. Christmas reminds us of the challenges faced by our neighbors in need, basic needs we sometimes take for granted. When you give with joy to the Salvation Army, you transform lives. You put food on the table and provide warm beds. You give veterans and seniors purpose. You help a child experience the joy of Christmas. And 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to critical social services. Bring joy to the world today. Visit salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is doubling their usual veterans discount on all products and services in November. That means veterans and active military get 10% off all month at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Details on their website. Schedule your annual garage door tune-up before winter really sets in. Just call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Setting goals for retirement is one thing, but knowing how to achieve those goals is another.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
For tips on building a better nest egg, tune in to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All, Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6, right here on KMOX. You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisements.
KMOX, your place for NCAA football action. Saturday as USC faces Oregon. Pre-game at 2, kickoff at 2:30 on America's Sports Voice. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's check the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How are we doing on this Friday morning, Roger?
Well, just some slow going out there, Megan, as we're at the peak of the rush hour. This traffic reports the service at Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing, but it's not bad. It's a Friday morning, so that helps. And there's no sun in your eyes. That helps. And hopefully roads will dry out a little bit. At least the rain maybe will let up. Northbound 55 slow into 67. There's a little heavy traffic from Bayless up to River to Pear, north 270, north of 55 to 44. There's a little heavy spot around Big Bend Doherty Ferry and then north of Manchester up to Ladue. South 270, Olive to Ladue is kind of slow. Southbound 61, a little busy stretch before you get to Wentzville Parkway. It's a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard at Research Park. Chesterfield Parkway west to about Timberlake and then McKnight into Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton through Big Bend is slow. South 170, Bogstown at Delmar. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, approaching Lake St. Louis in through to TR Hughes, just a couple of slow spots along the way. Never a solid jam. Eastbound 44 downtown, busy at the Poplar. Westbound 64 looks good through Greenmount. It is slow west of 3rd Street onto the bridge, but again, it's just a slowdown, not a jam. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
From now on, if you sprang a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
thanks for calling Jerry Kelley Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelley will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelley.com. Well, the skies have lightened up a little bit, but it's still pretty dreary out there this morning. Let's find out what the weekend has in store for us from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
Improving weather, that's for sure. I mean, today it's all about the rain. The temperatures have been stuck in neutral, about 53, 54 degrees, and they're not going much of anywhere. Now, the steadiest of the rain will be over the next 2-3 hours. I think as we approach lunchtime and beyond, that rain becomes much lighter in nature and really intermittent this afternoon. But again, temperatures stuck in the mid-50s. A bit of rain or drizzle early tonight. It begins to dry out late tonight. By morning, we'll start to see some breaks in the overcast with a low down to about 43. Those clouds quickly vamoose tomorrow, and sunshine returns. Our high gets to 59. With sunshine Sunday, we're up to 64. We go into Monday, it clouds up with a couple of showers moving through the high 56. And those showers will linger into a part of Tuesday. Tuesday's high 62. It gets a lot colder as we head toward Thanksgiving. 53, raining at St. Peter's, 54 in Florissant, holding steady and raining 54 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Another loss for the Blues, but a big win in the NCAA tournament for SLU soccer. I'm Brian Feldman. Sports coming up in 2 minutes.
Well, more in the news now, and you can't separate KMOX and the Cardinals. The history is entwined. KMOX's massive signal and top-tier broadcasters introducing new fans to Cardinal baseball, and the Cards bringing large audiences to the radio station. John Rooney, Randy Carricker, and Mike Claiborne talked about that history during our 100th anniversary celebration yesterday.
Because of your background in your childhood, how much does it mean to you to be the voice of the Cardinals?
Well, it means a lot to be a Cardinal broadcaster, and something I always wanted to do. But look at the broadcasters that we've had here, where you had Jack Buck, who is a Ford Frick Award winner. Mike Shannon should have already been a Ford Frick Award winner. Bob Starr was a terrific announcer, one of the best football announcers I ever heard, but really, really good on baseball, too. And then you go back before that, Joe Garagiola was here. And, of course, Harry. I listened to Harry and Jack doing the Cardinals, and in 1984, that's when I became a Cardinal fan. And I love that 64 team where it's the all-broadcast team. You had Euchre and McCarver, broadcasters. Bill White, a great broadcaster with the Yankees, and one of my teammates on CBS Radio when I got to work with Bill.
Dick Grote was a broadcaster.
He did a lot of basketball, and, of course, he was the leading scorer at Duke in NCAA basketball, but did Pittsburgh basketball for a long time. And then Lou Brock did broadcasting. Bob Gibson did broadcasting. You had Mike Shannon, and I think Kurt Flood did a little broadcasting, too, I think in Oakland.
He did in Oakland, yes.
That's amazing. By the way, here on KMOX, you were one of the people that nurtured a young broadcaster, Dan Deerdorf. He wasn't a really young guy. But I remember the Mizzou game. I don't even remember where you guys were, where he was going to jump out of the booth.
Oh, yeah. If Missouri scores here, I'm jumping out of the booth. And I think they scored. But thank goodness he stayed in the booth.
Yeah.
And, what fun that was.
From sports to talk to news, we have 10 hours of 100th anniversary conversation for you at KMOX.com.
We have had so many amazing sports figures come through the halls here of KMOX Radio, some of them on the air yesterday. One of them on the air with us this morning, Brian Feldman.
Yes, I don't think anybody would ever want to put me in the same category as the gentleman that we're just on, but I do appreciate that. No, I mean, KMOX is such a near and dear place to my heart. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get hired here in 2007, right out of college. And, working in journalism, working in radio, as you all know, like usually out of school, you have to start in other smaller markets. And I will never forget, it was March 2007. I'm graduating from Syracuse University and getting the call from Tom Ackerman and Steve Moore asking me if I wanted to work here and to be able to come home on the heels of the Cardinals winning a World Series and to come back to my hometown when a lot of my other friends are applying for jobs all over the country. Like, that is one of those moments in your life that you will never forget, where you were, what you were feeling. My entire body just was on fire with excitement. It was the coolest thing. And to be honest with you, I don't know where I would be, because I would have gotten a job somewhere and who knows where life would have taken me. So to be able to come home and cover the Cardinals, and obviously the Rams being here, and some of the biggest moments in Cardinals, history that I got to cover, not necessarily here at KMOX. I had moved on, by the time those had happened, but KMOX will always have a very special place in my heart. So I thank everybody here, and it's always been great to hear those wonderful stories.
And we're always glad when you can come by and hang out with us in the morning.
I consider myself part of the KMOX family and always love seeing all of you.
It is 7:46.
Moving on to the sports news of the day. Make that 4 straight losses for the Blues and another blown lead. Up 2-0 to Philadelphia last night. They fall 3-2 in overtime, and That's the second time in a week the Blues have blown a lead against the Flyers and lost. Blues now 6-9-6 on the season. Only Nashville's doing worse in the Central Division. NFL action last night. Houston defeats Buffalo 23-19 to improve to 6-5 on the year. The Texans defense sacks Bills quarterback Josh Allen 8 times. Buffalo falls to 7-4. Down in college, big matchup for Eli Drinkwitz and Mizzou this weekend. The 23rd-ranked Tigers face number 8 Oklahoma in Norman. Kickoff 11 a.m. tomorrow. Mizzou's dropped all 3 games this season against ranked opponents, Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M. College hoops, the Mizzou men takes down South Dakota last night, 102-68 in Columbia. The Tigers still unbeaten this season at 6-0. Mark Mitchell leads the way with 22 points. In college soccer, SLU beats Kentucky 2-1 in the first round of the NCAA tournament. The Billikens fall behind early, but tie it up with a goal from Jack DiMaria in the 86th minute. He scores again in the 104th. SLU advances to the second round, where it'll face number 6 Indiana this Sunday at 11 a.m. And the Maryville University women also advancing in the NCAA tournament. This after the Saints beat Northwood 1-0 yesterday in the first round. They'll now face the 8th seed Cedarville. That'll be Saturday at 2. Cedarville knocked off the number 1 seed Grand Valley State in its first-round matchup. With reports at 15 and 45 past the hour, I'm Brian Feldman on your home for St. Louis Cardinals baseball, KMOX.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Big Red Highlights are brought to you by KMOX Radio, the sports voice of St. Louis.
There, when every game mattered.
Here's Lomax back taking the snap, 4-man rush. He throws one down the middle, Green, touchdown! Touchdown!
Cardinal football on the move.
Takes the snap, rolling right, throwing in goal, caught, touchdown!
Hi, I'm Roy Green. KMOX Radio brings you exclusive Cardinal football action. Tune in each Sunday as Bill Wilkerson and Zip Rozeppa bring you all the play-by-play. Only on the sports voice of America, KMOX Radio.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
Discover one of St. Louis's greatest treasures, St. Louis Public Library's Central Library. Designed by world-renowned architect Cass Gilbert and completed in 1912, this Beaux Arts masterpiece blends stunning historic details with modern design after a $70 million award-winning renovation. Experience the grandeur for yourself. Free docent-led tours are available Mondays at 11 and 12:30 and Saturdays at 11 noon and 1 p.m. Visit online at slpl.org to learn more. St. Louis Public Library.
Winter Wonderland, presented by St. Louis County Parks and Recreation at Tillis Park, is open Wednesday, November 26th through January 3rd. Enjoy more than 1 million dazzling lights with holiday characters and festive scenes. Whether you're carrying on a family tradition or starting a new one, you'll never see anything like Winter Wonderland at Tillis Park. Happy holidays from Kirkwood Fence, Tully Tire, Washington U Orthopedics, Restoration One, and Happy Roof. Get more info at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:50, and that means it's time for traffic and weather. Let's see what Roger Brand is seeing. He is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center with the latest.
Well, just slow going for most folks, Debbie. The roads are still wet from the rain, so it's no surprise. Just a little busy, 55 northbound between Bayless and River to Pear, north 270, north of 55 through Gravois, north of Big Bend up to Ladue. That's pretty busy. The southbound run into Ladue doesn't look bad. 70's doing better. A little slow through Lake St. Louis, opens up before you get to Bryan Road, then just TR Hughes into 79. Some slower traffic again from Bermuda in through Riverview. Again, looking, I don't see any issue there right now, though, thankfully. Eastbound 64, a little slow approaching Lake St. Louis Boulevard, approaching the Boone Bridge through the Chesterfield Parkways and east of Lindbergh. Some stop-and-go traffic in through to about Big Bend. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64 from the Science Center headed out through Big Bend is pretty busy. Downtown, eastbound 44 from 55 past the Poplar and the Arch Grounds is slow, and westbound 64 3rd Street to the bridge, there's some volume at a slower pace as well. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Periods of rain today, a high of 55, rain and drizzle early tonight, then cloudy overnight with a low of 43, and a much nicer day tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, pleasant afternoon, a high of 59. Right now, rainfall 54 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The International Institute of St. Louis is hosting a free community Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday. Blake Hamilton is joining me right now. Blake, can you give us a little idea of what the community Thanksgiving dinner is going to be like on Sunday?
Absolutely. Our community Thanksgiving dinner is really a way to welcome new arrivals and recent arrivals to our community and really have them share in this American tradition of giving thanks.
I imagine for some new Americans or some people new to this country, Thanksgiving is not a holiday that they will necessarily be familiar with.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, while Thanksgiving is very American, the notion of giving thanks really runs across cultures. And so when we sort of explain the historical elements of this, regardless of that shared history, the notion of giving thanks and being thankful for what we have while many really continue to face challenges in accessing basic resources, there are still many things that many folks have reason to be thankful for. And it's about remembering those things as well. And that is really just a message that expands across culture, across countries. And so we're really happy to be able to host this event. Now, holidays really can be isolating, especially for families that are newer to the region and maybe don't understand why everything is closed yet, right? So this dinner really is an opportunity to make sure everybody feels included and connected, and that's a way that we can help the community go stronger.
When you say it's a community dinner, who all comes to this and who is invited?
Well, we really want every family in St. Louis to feel that there's a seat for them at the table. So our doors are really open. And yes, we're inviting those folks that we serve, but this is a community dinner, and we're happy to host folks that want a space to feel welcome.
Do you rely on donations for this, or where does the food come from?
Oh, yes. We rely on many donations. We're partnering with Hendry's Catering, and it's really an event that's sponsored by Dot Foods. We're partnering with Build-A-Bear as well, who are going to have about 300 teddy bears to be giving out to the kids in attendance. Gateway Science Academy and its orchestra will be performing. We're thankful for our partners at Welcome Neighbor, who will be supplying some volunteers to help serve dinner, and many other of our own volunteers who really are working to put this on and make the day possible. So this is really a community commitment to welcoming, and we're happy to be able to host that here at the Institute.
I ran into you a few months, of course, at the Festival of Nations, and it's always such a beautiful celebration of immigrants and new Americans and all of the different cultures that we welcome here. But also at the same time, there is a pervasive feeling in this country of some anti-immigrant sentiment. So how do you parse that, or how do your clients deal with that?
Well, I mean, this is obviously a very challenging time for many immigrants. They are very worried about themselves and their loved ones. Those folks that are legally present here and those that aren't are all feeling the weight of what's going on in our country right now. And really, this is about showing up and showing out and making sure that folks that are in this community understand that they do belong here, and there are many here who do support them. And the festival is one way that we do that, and show that this community values a multicultural community and the many different backgrounds that make our region what it is. And really keeping alive the notion that immigration is not just a fact of our nation's past; it's a part of our present. And if we're lucky, it'll be part of our future. We've really relied in this region on international immigration to stem population decline that we've seen for decades. And, just the most recent information released by the census earlier this spring showed that this region actually grew by 6,000 residents. And we actually welcomed 12,000 international immigrants to the region in that same period. So if not for international immigration, we would still continue to see this population decline. It is really a imperative for this region and its growth is to be welcoming and to welcome these folks who are very highly educated, as many folks that are in our region are, and really folks that are disproportionately entrepreneurial, starting businesses and hiring and adding to the vibrancy of our economy here. These are ways that many cities in this country have grown. It's the way that we have grown as a city in our history as well. So really it's about recapturing that and continuing the message that St. Louis is a welcoming place and a place of opportunity for many who call it home. And we want to put that on full display through our events like Festival of Nations, like this Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, it all starts at 4 with the Gateway Science Academy Orchestra performing. It's at the International Institute on Arsenal in South St. Louis, the community Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday.
Thank you so much, Debbie.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. The Brennans love celebrating the holidays at home. There has never been a better time to move up to McKelvey with our Home for the Holidays sale. This is your last chance to save big at the Preserve in Afton with savings of $25,000 plus $10,000 cash at closing and special financing on all of the 4 remaining homes, including our luxurious Turnberry display. The Preserve is truly special with lakes, trails, and an abundance of wood and common ground. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Thank you, St. Louis, for making Genesis of St. Charles the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. We know your time is valuable. That's why every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet. Unlock your e-price and save. That means complimentary vehicle pickup and delivery, plus a loaner vehicle at no additional cost. Or want something new? We'll bring the test drive to you. Visit genesisofstcharles.com during the Genesis Signature event. Based on GMA sales records for 2024. See dealer for details.
Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, as you're driving into work northbound on 55, you just got a little heavy traffic from about Bayless up to River to Pear, North 270 approaching Gravway up to 44 slow, Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladou's, pretty busy. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, it's thinned out coming in through Lake St. Louis. That's great. If you're on eastbound 64, it looks pretty good till you get to Clarkson to Timberlake slow, and Spady all the way through the Inner Belt. The Inner Belt has a couple of slow spots from Olive down to 64. Westbound 64 from Hampton headed out to Hanley's heavy. Eastbound 70, still that slow traffic approaching Lucas Hunt in through Goodfellow, and then it sorts itself out. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Breaking news from St. Louis. Officials say an officer shot and killed a man at Lambert International Airport early this morning. County Police spokeswoman Vera Clay.
They did encounter an individual who refused to leave and displayed a knife. When the officers tried to get that person to leave, he refused to drop the knife and started to come at the officers.
She says they used tasers first, but it didn't stop him. Police say he was in a restricted area. No word yet on the man's identity. The FAA will give bonuses to air traffic controllers and technicians who had perfect attendance records during the government shutdown.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says 776 employees will get the $10,000 bonuses.
They're patriots. We are grateful to them for the work that they've done.
20,000 other workers called out sick during the shutdown because they couldn't afford the gas to get to work or couldn't afford childcare. Some of them picked up side jobs to make ends meet. President Trump has suggested controllers who missed work should have their pay docked, but the FAA hasn't said anything about that. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
There's a growing uproar after President Trump accused a group of Democrats of sedition, a crime he says is, quote, punishable by death. Their offense, he says, was posting a video instructing military members to refuse illegal orders. White House spokeswoman Caroline Leavitt.
That is a very, very dangerous message, and it perhaps is punishable by law.
One of those Democrats, Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
I'm not going to shut up because Donald Trump is threatening me.
The lawmakers are adding extra security. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has taken a look at the U.S. 28-point proposal to end the war with Russia. It includes calls for major concessions, including ceding territory to Russia and giving up some of its weaponry. Correspondent Ramy Inocencio is at the foreign desk.
On the ground from the people, reaction has been understandably very skeptical, very negative to the initial reports of the plan, and they say that this is capitulation to the Kremlin.
Today kicks off the start of the Thanksgiving travel stretch. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve is at the airport in Miami.
The airlines are confident they are ready for the rush and believe they will be near or at or above record levels. They've added about 45,000 seats this year compared to last year. Of course, the busiest days, if you're flying, will come after Thanksgiving, with the Sunday after Thanksgiving probably the busiest at the airports and maybe the busiest ever.
Chris says some booking data show the government shutdown slowed down the pace of travel bookings this month. Dow futures up 262. This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
At 8:03, we have some light rain, 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, November 21st. I'm Megan Lynch. As you just heard on CBS News and have heard on KMOX this morning, St. Louis Airport Police shot and killed a man inside Terminal 1 at Lambert Airport this morning.
Just after 1 a.m., two officers making their rounds at Lambert Airport, routine security checks in Terminal 1. They came upon a man with a knife. St. Louis County Police Department is investigating. Spokeswoman Vera Clay.
Clearing the areas for anyone who's not supposed to be in certain areas. And they did encounter an individual who refused to leave and displayed a knife. When the officers tried to get that person to leave, he refused to drop the knife and started to come at the officers.
Clay told Fox 2 the suspect was tased but kept coming. That's when one of the officers opened fire, killing the suspect. Two officers were not hurt. The investigation is ongoing as to why the suspect was in the airport to begin with. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The employee who drove Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's children to school delivered an emotional and confusing testimony during the sheriff's ongoing trial yesterday.
Montgomery could lose his job because Barb Shavers transported Montgomery's kids in a department vehicle. A big question lingering through her testimony: did she transport them on the taxpayer's dime while she was supposed to be working? Hard to say, since she didn't track her hours. Why? After testifying she lacked access to the employee system, attorneys general directed her back to her deposition, where she said she didn't because of an arrangement with Montgomery. She also said she stopped using a department vehicle when she got herself a new car. During cross-examination, she was asked about the relationship she has with the kids. She cried as she described how she is essentially their grandmother in her eyes. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
And Sean reports the courtroom was stunned when Omer lost his patience with the sheriff's attorney, David Mason. Sheriff's Major Lee Stokes testified about the retaliation he faced when he spoke to the feds about Sheriff Montgomery's detainment of Tammy Ross. And then apparently things got personal after Mason questioned Stokes about a disciplinary hearing against him that was called but did not happen. Stokes said it was only canceled after pushing for Mason to call it off for half an hour, saying he didn't trust him. A city school gets a warning.
St. Louis Voices Academy has been given a strict deadline to fix significant safety issues or face potential closure. The State Charter Commission placed the school on probation effective immediately, citing a laundry list of problems, including uncertified teachers, special education violations, and a lack of emergency procedures. The board has to submit a comprehensive safety plan by next Monday, November 24th. If that plan is not approved, the state says that students won't be allowed to return to the school on December 1st. Mike Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This year's State of Lung Cancer report put out by the American Lung Association provides a bit of optimism in the battle against this leading cause of cancer-related death in the United States.
The American Lung Association's Dr. Juanita Mora.
We're seeing progress when it comes to lung cancer. Looking at the last 5 years of data, we know that 5-year survival has increased to 26%.
And she says not only are doctors detecting lung cancer earlier in a way that makes it more likely to be curable, more people are getting screened for it. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
For us doing this 40 years, the demand has always been there.
It's the 40th anniversary of Scouting for Food. Tom Krenning is with the Greater St. Louis Area Council of Scouting America.
Scouting for Food started here in our area 40 years ago and then went national a couple years later.
Thousands of scouts will go door to door this Saturday picking up canned goods, and you can find out more this morning at 8:31 here on KMOX. KMOX Day pulled out all the stops yesterday. Actor John Goodman was a part of the special programming to share his love for the radio station and the city of St. Louis, his hometown.
The place was magic when I was growing up, and it was everything I needed. And you know what? I just didn't realize it until I left. When I did that, whenever I roamed the country, and wherever I was, I tried to get 1120 on the dial to bring a little bit of home with me. And every once in a while, I'd get it. I had to be really patient, but it really comforted me.
KMOX.com and our KMOX podcasts are where you can find much more on KMOX's 100th anniversary. From the business desk now, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Could a 50-year mortgage make buying a home easier? President Trump has proposed that idea to lower monthly payments. Jeff Jones, Associate Dean at the College of Business at Missouri State University, says people would be paying a tremendous amount of interest.
It's an even greater piece of that payment that is dedicated towards paying interest. So for me, that is the biggest concern with a 50-year mortgage would be the fact that homeowners might pay on that loan for many, many years and really build very little equity in the home.
An economist for the National Association of Realtors says for some it could be a way into the market, but only with a clear plan to refinance or sell later. The Missouri Realtors Association has not weighed in on the issue yet. It's now 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-548-4040. 800-548-4040. That's 800-548-4040.
Welcome to Coffee House. How are you today?
Hi, great, thanks. May I get a sea salt caramel latte with almond milk, extra caramel, extra shot, iced,
Gross.
and to go, please. Did you get all that?
No, I was just ringing you up for all the extras. Can you repeat your order, please?
Oh, never mind. I'm just gonna go.
Stop paying extra for extras. Get fancy coffee without the fancy coffee price at Quick Trip. Raise your coffee bar.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Jason Smith is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Jason Smith at 202-225-4404 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10. This is Total Information AM here on KMOX. Coming up, we're going to talk about the holiday gatherings that so many of us will be having and what to do if we see some changes in our older loved ones. First, though, Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we have traffic slowing both directions on 64 at Mason. There's a crash on the Mason overpass. I guess it's visible. I can see the flashing lights. Flatbeds are there. They called it out a while ago. It was called out as North Outer 40 at Mason, but it looks like it's impacting southbound Mason where the lane restrictions are at this time. Once you get around that Mason Road area, it's just a little slow. Lindbergh in through a Big Bend just in a couple of spots. North 270 from Manchester up to Ladou's busy. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker through Bellevue is about the worst of it. Eastbound 70, just a little slow east of Lucas Hunt in toward Goodfellow, then it sorts itself out. Things look good on 55 on the south side. And westbound 64 just slow, approaching Route 3 to the Poplar so far. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather. There'll be some fog this morning. Otherwise, periods of rain today, steadiest and heaviest through the morning hours. That can lead to a slow morning commute, the high 55. Bit of rain and drizzle early tonight, then remaining cloudy late tonight, though 43. Those clouds will give way to lots of sunshine tomorrow with a nice afternoon, the high 59. Sunday, mostly sunny and beautiful, the high 64. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It looks like that rain has let up just a little bit downtown. It's still pretty wet out there, though. 54 in downtown St. Louis, 53 in St. Peters, 54 as well in Florissant. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. What do you do if you notice a change in a loved one around the holidays? You may see older relatives for the first time in months and therefore notice some changes in their memory or behavior. Well, the Alzheimer's Association will be hosting a virtual program next month to help you out. And in studio this morning is Sarah Lovegreen. She's Vice President of Programs for the Alzheimer's Association Greater Missouri Chapter. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us in studio this morning.
Thanks for having us.
I think this is something that a lot of families deal with, and it can be pretty startling. So, what would you say to someone if they do notice those changes? What's the next step?
Yeah, so the next step when you're starting to question some of those memory and thinking changes is to have a conversation, right? So, you're probably noticing them in somebody that you care about, like you said, maybe haven't seen in a while. And it's good to also gut check what you're seeing maybe with some other family members. Like, hey, I noticed, mom maybe's having some trouble word finding, or things don't seem quite in order as they have been in the past. And see what other family members might be saying. But then also have a conversation with that individual and just say, hey, I noticed some things. These are the things that I've noticed. You're asking the same question often, or you seem to be struggling to follow our conversation. Do you notice that too? Like, are you noticing that you're having some problems? Sometimes that conversation can go very smoothly the first time. You're likely going to have that conversation more than once because it is kind of hard to hear too. But sometimes people also recognize in themselves that they have some memory and thinking changes and they want to talk about it.
How much can we chalk up to the fact that for some people probably as you age, your life gets a little more contained, maybe, and you're not around a whole lot of people. But at the holidays, you might have a bigger gathering. It may not be in your own home. How much can we say is just kind of that disorientation of being in different surroundings?
That's a really great question. I think some, right? Like, response time is going to slow, reaction time slows, right? Kind of. That's normal aging, right? For things to just kind of slow down a little bit. But I think if we're really seeing, difficulty actively participating in a conversation, or again, some trouble with word finding, needing to ask questions, we're doing a lot of cooking the next several weeks, right? As part of our traditions here in the U.S. And, maybe you start seeing that person struggle to follow a recipe. Like that could be another sign that comes up. And so I think, it is fair, I think, to sort of say like, oh, is this just today? If you're visiting someone, you'll get to see them for multiple days, hopefully. So you can see that as the difference between sort of a big event versus how they might operate daily.
Now, a lot of us, as we age, we want to stay independent. So I can imagine that some people might get defensive if they're asked about changes in their behavior. How do you handle that as a loved one?
Yeah, I think what's important to know is that memory and thinking changes aren't just dementia, right? Or aren't just Alzheimer's disease. There are lots of things that can cause memory and thinking changes or cognitive decline, many of which are treatable, right? So let's have a conversation with the healthcare provider, figure out if there's anything else going on that we can treat. Maybe it's a vitamin deficiency. Maybe you've had some chronic infections for a while and they're still kind of lingering and we need to get that taken care of. Those things we can fix. But if it is something like Alzheimer's disease, we also want to know that sooner so that we can get on treatment to maintain that independence as long as possible.
Why is that important, especially with some of the new treatments that we have today?
The new treatments are best when you have found the disease in its earliest stages. So once you get to a certain point in the disease, those treatments will no longer work. And so we are really driving people for an early and accurate diagnosis. And it could be, you don't need to do anything except just get that cognitive screening. Maybe everything's fine. A year later, do it again, right? Just like we would do any other screening. Really have that conversation with your healthcare provider to get a baseline so you know when changes are happening so you can see if you need to get on that treatment.
Now, I think it's always interesting. You mentioned, having those conversations maybe with your siblings or other relatives about what you see in someone. How do you get on the same page as a family to try to support that person?
That can also be difficult depending on the sibling relationship. So I'm fortunate, at least in my own personal life. I have an amazing sister. We talk about my parents' health all the time. And so we're there to really support each other, not any Alzheimer's or dementia issues there. But, I think it could be a sibling doesn't want to see signs and symptoms, right? And we've got a great tool on our website, alz.org/10 signs, the number 10 and signs. And that really kind of almost gives you a worksheet to really critically think through, like, what's the change you're noticing? Does anybody else notice it? And then what those next steps could be in terms of having that conversation. I think just being honest and caring is really important in that conversation. Hey, these are things I'm noticing. I'm worried about you. I'm talking to you about this hard topic because I love you, is a really great place to start. But then if there's more resistance or if those conversations are getting stuck, our 24/7 helpline is fantastic to help work through those situations.
Let's say that you get through the holidays and you do get a diagnosis of either dementia or Alzheimer's. What supports are out there for families to try to start to navigate that?
Yeah, definitely get on our website, and that's a great one-stop shop for all things related to Alzheimer's disease and other dementias. Hopefully you're having a conversation with your healthcare providers about treatment if you're eligible. But if not, really what are those next steps for planning to ensure that the person who has a diagnosis is living out the life that they want to live, right? That they can decision make as long as possible. And we also have a great new tool. It's called My All's Journey. It's an app available on all the devices. And it really helps families really go through step by step sort of what they need to think about in that caregiving process. Or for someone living with the disease, there's also a pathway for them to really think about some of the emotions that they may be going through and find support in their community.
And Sarah, before we let you go, we opened this up talking about the special presentation that you are going to be having about this very topic. And if you do see changes over the holidays, can you give our listeners some more details of how they can take part in that?
Yeah, so that program will be December 3rd at 6 p.m. Like you said, it's virtual. They can go to our website. It's a little long, alz.org/greatermojoy. And they'll be able to find the links to that program and a couple other special programs we have in December.
Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
That is Sarah Lovegreen. She is Vice President of Programs for the Alzheimer's Association Greater Missouri Chapter, joining us this morning here on KMOX. Coming up, it's the Moolah Festival of Trees this weekend. It starts this weekend. You can bid on all those fantastic trees they always have. Dave Hope, the event chair, is going to join me next on KMOX. First, though, we need to get a check of the roads for you with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still working the crash, Megan, on Mason at Highway 64, southbound lane restrictions, but it looks like they're towing one of the vehicles away right now, but I still do see flashing lights. So just be prepared. The slowdowns we had through Mason, though, pretty well thinned out, so that's good news. North 270, Manchester up to Ladou's busy. Eastbound 64, some slow stuff just east of Lindbergh through Clayton-Warson, and then McKnight into Big Bend's bumper to bumper. South 170 slows to the Parkway. Westbound 64, Clayton-Skinker out to Hanley, still kind of busy. They sent EMS crews again to Etherton and Centaur. We had an earlier injury crash there. They're back out there. I guess there's another crash at that location. Downtown westbound 64, just a little slow across the Poplar. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. I've spent a lot of Sundays right here playing in front of the best fans in football. And now it's almost your turn to get in the game because DraftKings Sportsbook is coming to the Show Me State on December 1st. Soon you'll get fast payouts when you win, a safe and secure app that's easy to use, and promos that keep the action going all season long. It's America's top-rated sportsbook app. New customers can sign up right now and score $300 in bonus bets on launch day, December 1st.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KMOX. New Missouri customers, sign up today and score $300 in bonus bets once we're live. That's code KMOX. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Subject to regulatory licensing requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
You're back with Total Information AM on this Friday morning. I'm Megan Lynch, and the 7th annual Moolah Festival of Trees starts tomorrow at Moolah Shrine Center. With me now is Dave Hope, event chairman. Dave, thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks for having us, Megan.
So what is the Festival of Trees? And I say fez, that's how you've got it. You've got it spelled because the Shriners love their fezzes.
Absolutely. The fezzes is what we're known for. Everybody knows those guys who drive around the parades in their funny little hats, and the fezzes are those hats. The Festival of Trees is a great event. Like you said, we've been going for 7 years. It's one of the most family-friendly events to kick off the holiday season in the St. Louis area. This year we have over 49 trees that are all decorated with items, and our trees range in value anywhere from $500 all the way up to $15,000. People come in, they buy raffle tickets, they stick them in our candy canes, and next Saturday night we're going to draw out winners, and if we draw your ticket for just $1, you'll win everything. The tree, the gifts, everything that's there ready for you to go.
Tell us about some of the organizations that help decorate and donate the trees and the other items.
So we have some amazing sponsors. You know, we have Absolute Comfort Systems and Carrier. We have Train. They're providing a mini split this year. One of our favorite sponsors that comes back year after year is CarShield. This year, CarShield has went above and beyond what they normally do. They've brought us a $9,000 electric 4-seater golf cart for the winner of that tree. We've got amazing things. We've got our friends at Slyman Brothers. You guys at KMOX have done some great stuff with some great sports tickets. Baron Mirror Glass and Doors, Greg's Automotive. We can go on and on. We have so many community sponsors who believe in this event and come out and put out amazing trees every year.
Now, tell us just the who, what, why, where, when, how of where folks go, what admission is, things like that.
So we're here at Moolah Shrine, 12545 Fifi Road. We're right over by Westport Plaza, not far from there. You come on in the bottom level here. We've got everything decorated. It's $2 admission for everybody over 12. Kids under 12 are free. You come on in, you buy the tickets. Our raffle tickets start at $1. Of course, as you buy more, you're going to get more tickets for the more money you spend. We try to make it a good family value. We also have a cafe that has, sweets, sandwiches, great chili, things like that. So you could spend the time here, take a little break, come back, look at the trees. Santa will be here every day for the kids, so come get your pictures, get those all ready for your Christmas cards. You can have those made up and sent out in the next week or so.
When this comes to, the fundraising that you do, where does this event fall maybe compared to some other things?
So this has become a great event for us. It really only makes a fraction of what our yearly budget is. Like everybody else in the country, we have to manage to keep the lights on, because if we can't keep the lights on, we can't keep the Shriners doing the great work in the community that they do. And so this event helps us to raise all the funds that we can, or at least some of the funds, to keep us open throughout the year. All of our information can be found on our website at moolah.org, along with all of our information. We also have an online version. If you can't make it out, you can come and log on to that moolah.org, and you can go through and see all of our trees online, purchase tickets, and get entered that way.
Well, Dave, thank you so much. I hope you get a great turnout this year.
No problem. Thank you, Megan. Have a great day.
You too. That is Dave Hope, event chairman for the 7th Annual Moolah Festival of Trees. It starts tomorrow at Moolah Shrine Center. Coming up, we're going to tell you about another way you can help folks in the community. It's the 40th Annual Scouting for Food Drive. Those scouts will be out picking up cans. We'll have more on that coming up at the bottom of the hour. It's now 8:27, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
All righty, we're getting ready to come into winter here, where we're going to be using our furnaces. A lot of you are getting prices now, or you're getting your furnaces checked and you're being told that you have an issue with your furnace and you need a new furnace. So if that is the case and you want a very simple common sense approach to picking a furnace, if that's the case, I'd appreciate you calling and giving me a chance to meet with you and discuss your options. So call me. It's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. Just one number. Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. That's Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, or on the web is bartinman.com. Now there's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/life.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
8:30, time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got some trouble in North County right now, Megan, with a crash on westbound 270. This traffic reports the service of Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. It's westbound 270 west of Lindbergh. The right lanes are blocked. Traffic's jammed about midway between 170 and Lindbergh on westbound 270 up to that crash scene. Southbound 61 at Highway KK. Report of an overturned vehicle crash in Lincoln County. Emergency crews are on the way. Eastbound 70, a little slow between Lake St. Louis and Bryan Road. Northbound 270, the right lane's a little busy north of Manchester. Slow from 64 most of the way up to Olive. Eastbound 64, McKnight through Hanley's heavy. South 170 bogs down at Brentwood. Westbound 64, McCausland to Hanley's kind of heavy. Downtown, we've cleared out across the Poplar Street Bridge westbound. And Etherton at Centaur, they're working another injury crash. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast for today, some fog this morning, otherwise periods of rain, steadiest and heaviest in the morning. It looks like things have tapered off a little bit, but we have had some slow travel due to that. Expect a high of 55, a bit of rain and drizzle early, then cloudy late, an overnight low of 43. And then tomorrow, clouds giving way to plenty of sunshine, a pleasant afternoon, a high of 59. The temperatures now from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, 54 in Florissant, 53 in St. Peters, and 54 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Furnace funky?
Then make one call.
And Jerry Kelley will be there the very next day.
Call anytime, 8 to 8, 8 days a week.
And Jerry Kelley will fix your furnace or install a new one the very next day.
JerryKelley.com.
This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. The Scouts are out this weekend and next for the 40th Annual Scouting for Food Drive. Joining me, Tom Krenning. He is Director of Program Development for the Greater St. Louis Area Council of Scouting America. Tom, thanks so much for joining me.
Happy to join you, Megan.
What do you see so far as the need and the demand for this year from people that really are in short supply of food?
And I think I would just say, for us doing this 40 years, the demand has always been there. And I know we had a little bit of a scare with the government shutdown, and folks are still possibly dealing with that. But it just seems in our area that there's always been the need. And we've always been proud in our Scout Council to where Scouting for Food started here in our area 40 years ago and then went national a couple of years later to all our Scout Councils. We've just been thrilled to be able to have a good turn project that our young people can get behind, embrace, certainly just get that feeling of service back to the community and just know the impact it's providing. So it's just been something that we treasure and look to continue to obviously do for another 40 years.
What's your goal this year? How much do you want to try to collect here in this area?
We would love to hit that 2 million mark. That's been kind of our average. And so just to stay on pace with that would be fantastic. And we just appreciate our 31,000 some scouts just canvassing the neighborhoods through 63 of our counties in Missouri and Illinois. And so we hope that folks got their blue bags on their doors. And there are other ways to contribute if you didn't. But that's what we hope just from Kevin seeing out that many young people and seeing what we can collect this Saturday.
Remind people what are some of the best items to put in those bags for scouts to pick up?
Well, mostly it's canned goods, things that can stay on shelves for a while. We normally don't prefer things in glass, but whatever folks are willing to do, even sometimes we do get cash donations so we can get back to the food banks and pantries. But pretty much just canned goods and hopefully good canned goods that are still safe to use. And we would just appreciate that. And any size of can works. And what you can do to fill in the bags, or sometimes people go beyond the bag, and we really appreciate that. Sometimes we find boxes of food on porches to pick up, and that's even thrilling for the scouts to use those muscles, get them in the cars and trucks, and then get them to the local fire stations or pantries.
Well, I hope people in the St. Louis region push you well beyond your goal, Tom. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. And we're going to have one heck of a 40th anniversary.
That's right. This weekend and next, look for those bags on your porches, set them out. That is Tom Krenning, Director of Program Development with the Greater St. Louis Area Council of Scouting America.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh.
Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Bitcoin is on track for its worst monthly performance since a string of corporate collapses rocked the wider crypto sector back in 2022. Bitcoin has now shed about 23% of its value in the month of November. Well, yesterday, the S&P 500 logged its biggest intraday reversal since April. NVIDIA's earnings initially pushed markets higher, but before the end of the day, fears returned over lofty stock prices and AI spending. And ahead of the cash open on Wall Street, futures are slightly higher this Friday morning. Also weighing on market sentiment has been a raft of Federal Reserve speakers signaling caution over further rate cuts. The remarks followed long-delayed data showing the labor market was stabilizing before the government shutdown. And the frenzy for the company behind the viral children's hit Baby Shark has quickly cooled off. The shares of Ping Fong dropping below their initial public offering price just days after the trading debut. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Staples presents An Easy Holiday.
Running a small business during the holidays is hard.
No truer words were.
But this year, Staples helped me have an easy holiday.
Your script has a typo.
Nope, easy peasy. I just ordered online at staples.com and picked up in store. And with UPS on site, shipping was easy too. Plus, huge savings on tech, custom cards, even my holiday sale signage.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com today for up to 45% off select laptops.
That was easy.
Ins 12/27.
This is Amy Mark Scores, chair of this year's Red Kettle campaign. Christmas reminds us of the challenges faced by our neighbors in need, basic needs we sometimes take for granted. When you give with joy to the Salvation Army, you transform lives. You put food on the table and provide warm beds. You give veterans and seniors purpose. You help a child experience the joy of Christmas. And 90 cents of every dollar donated goes directly to critical social services. Bring joy to the world today. Visit salarmy.us/Amy Mark Scores.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The U.S. government has released a new crash test dummy design that advocates believe will help make cars safer for women. The Federal Aviation Administration says only 776 of the nearly 20,000 air traffic controllers and technicians who had to work without pay during the shutdown will receive bonuses for perfect attendance. And fears about the artificial intelligence boom turning into an overblown bubble have diminished for now, thanks to a stellar earnings report from NVIDIA. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we got a couple of westbound crashes out there right now, Megan. This traffic reports the service of the Woodlands of Arnold Senior Living. It'd be westbound 270 west of Lindbergh. That crash still in the right lanes. Traffic's jammed between 170 and Lindbergh going westbound to North County. And then westbound 64 at Boyle, just west of Boyle, another crash there. That's a common spot, unfortunately, when it rains. Right lanes blocked. Traffic's jammed west of Grand up to that one. If you're on westbound 44, report of a car into the guardrail near the Metrolink overpass before you get to
Anyway,
how many? You've seen it? What?
Dozens of times.
Dozens.
But it's a love story.
Yeah.
It's a story of the French Revolution.
It's an epic tale, right?
It really is.
Uh-huh.
It's based on Victor Hugo's novel. They do a fabulous job at the Fox Theater. I saw some seats open last night. Maybe you could take Georgianne out to see it.
Yeah, it's what is it, 3.5 hours or something?
Yeah, it's a commitment, my friend. But
Yeah.
it's entertainment. You would enjoy it.
Well, I do like musicals, but I've not seen that one.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Well, I go see it a lot. And what we may get to see soon, John Hancock, are the Epstein files. We saw it pass the House. We passed the Senate. The President of the United States was on board with signing this into law. I understand he has. It's going to take 30 days for them to release the files. But we saw Pam Bondi at the microphone the other day saying that she was going to do everything she was legally allowed to do, that there's ongoing investigations.
You're not going to see, there's not going to be anything released that's going to be what folks are expecting, I predict. They can now claim that there's an active investigation going on, even though back in July they said they were done investigating.
It was a hoax. It was just all made up.
But now there are active investigations going on. That will be a pretext to withhold a lot of the documents. And, I just have a very low confidence level that during this administration we will ever get the full release of the Epstein information.
How does that hunt, though, with the president's base and his most feverish supporters who've been out there? I mean, they fomented over the Epstein files for so long, and now seeing the president change, this is signed into law, and they're yet again going to see this president who said it was a hoax, it was nothing, blah, 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 after running on it, is going to be the one. Doesn't this eventually bite him?
It's going to hurt. It's already hurt. If you've been following his approval numbers of late, he's down now across the board under 40. There were some outlier polls within the last month or so that had his approval rating in the low 40s. There's not a poll out there right now that has him, 38's the number. We've seen it in Ipsos, we've seen it in Reuters, we've seen it in the Fox News poll, CNN numbers, all of them saying 38% approval. And if that holds or even erodes more between now and next year, then it's going to be a disastrous midterm for the GOP.
And part of the problem is, John, you'll remember, President Trump started this initiative to redistrict across the country, Texas, et cetera, and it wound up ticking off a bunch of dominoes where now the Democratic states have done the same thing. We've seen some places where the Republican states aren't doing it. Kansas, Indiana are not participating. Questions about whether or not Missouri's is constitutional, I guess that's being considered. And Texas, in fact, it looks as though they threw that out, and it might cost the Republicans 5 seats.
Yeah, this whole gambit, whoever's had this, quote, brilliant idea, it was a bad political idea. And I'm not saying that as an institutionalist. I'm saying that as a partisan, because you've taken this effort to redraw lines in a cycle that's going to be bad because you're the incumbent party. So you're redrawing all these lines, and you're taking what were pretty safe Republican districts, 56% average vote, and you're drawing those districts down to 53 in order to build additional 53% Republican districts, which is what they did in Texas. And in Texas, heavily dependent on the Hispanic vote turning out for Republicans, as they did in 2024. Mm-hmm. And, Trump's numbers with Hispanics are terrible right now. So what they did, even if the map would go through in Texas, they're putting a bunch of seats in peril, are the Republicans, because of how they've approached this. Now, the Missouri switch, where the Cleaver seat was carved up 3 ways and distributed, that seat and all of the others, that probably would produce, even in a bad cycle, a 7-1 result from a state where our old lines were 6-2, Democrat to Republican.
Yeah, but this initiative was kicked off by Texas. Governor Kehoe jumped up as quick as possible to say he wanted to be a part of it. We saw some of the other Republican states push back. California had a monumental task. They had to go and amend the Constitution to change this. Gavin Newsom put together the money, had the energy. It passed overwhelmingly. The Democrats are moving forward, and they did it right, not hastily.
Well, and it's in those, because they had the public vote, because they amended their Constitution, there's every likelihood that those lines are going to hold in California. So this whole gambit that was the brainchild of somebody is going to, I think, backfire for Republicans. We need to step aside. We've got one more segment, then Chris and Amy come your way. We'll stick around with them right here on the 100-year-old voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
I'm Sean Malone. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
There are very few guarantees in life, but one thing that you can guarantee is that if you hire Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty to sell your home, she will sell it because she guarantees it in writing. And she can guarantee it because Gloria has the buyers in her exclusive database, people looking to buy a home in your price range and neighborhood. And that's how she is able to sell your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. So if other agents say they can't give you a written guarantee, well, call Gloria, because she doesn't just sell a few homes a year. She and her team sell hundreds. Give her a call at 314-325-6888. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. You can go ahead and ask her your questions. Everyone is a little different. Maybe you don't want to go the traditional way to sell your home. Gloria has so many different ways to sell your home. She guarantees it. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fire Capital Management for Your Retirement Highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
This holiday season, experience the power, the intensity, the legendary sound of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Coming to Enterprise Center for 2 shows, December 23rd at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. A portion of the proceeds from the 3 p.m. show benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, 2 shows, Enterprise Center, December 23rd. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
You are listening to the Hancock and Kelley show on the 100-year-old KMOX radio, and what a celebration that was yesterday.
Yeah, 10 hours. You can get the podcast at KMOX.com. There's a whole bunch of interesting segments in there, and as well as written descriptions of the pioneers of KMOX that were highlighted yesterday in a very special day of programming It was just an honor to be part of it.
Yeah, and some of the folks and voices that came back that
Yes.
you'll get to hear, it was such a pleasure to get to run into them and see those and spend the whole day listening to KMOX. It'll be a good way to spend your weekend as well. I was hoping after the show yesterday you'd come by my office. My mom gave me one of these little plants.
Yeah.
And it comes in like a wax ball.
Yeah, it's a little ball. I know
And
what you're talking
it
about.
shoots out.
Yep.
It's called an amaryllis.
Yep.
And you don't water it. And
Nope.
apparently the thing grows to 2 or 3 feet tall and shoots out these flowers and stuff.
It's remarkable.
How does it do it without water?
Well, because it has to do with the molecular structure of that particular botanical life form. And so
You
it
have
just
no clue.
Boom, it just boom.
But
There
it goes
boom.
It goes against every thought. First of all, it's blooming in the middle of the winter and you don't water it.
You
I don't
should
get it.
you should time lapse photograph the thing.
Yeah, but it's already like 12 or 13 inches tall. So.
And how long have you had it?
I don't know, like a week.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're cool. My mom gave those out to everybody back in the day.
They are cool. And wait, what may not be so cool, John, are prices at the grocery store.
Not good.
We've seen coffee prices. Everything's going up. There seems to be an admission from the White House to a certain extent that maybe tariffs are what's causing these prices to go up. And so the president's going to roll back on coffee beans and cocoa beans and all these things that aren't grown here in America. Geez, sounds like the conversation we had 9 months ago when we decided to put tariffs on everything.
Well, it's a tax, and you're raising the cost of what it costs to import goods or import inputs that create goods in the U.S. Looking at cars, for example, car parts come from all over, Canada, Mexico. Cars in production, American manufactured cars in production will cross the border between the U.S. and Canada several times, all of them coming and resulting in tariffs additionally increasing. There's no way that tariffs wouldn't be inflationary because it raises the price of everything, and it's a tax because the American people, the American consumer pays it.
The narrative that Republicans have always, right-of-center Republicans like yourself, hey, Kelley, I'm a free market capitalist.
Yes.
Free market capitalist. Is that brand lost from the Republican Party now with Donald Trump? Is this something that they're going to come back in 3 years and start telling us, oh, we're free market capitalists?
I hope so. I hope so.
It's not true.
I hope it comes back, but no, there's nothing about free enterprise, the free market system that's being exhibited right now in the United States by either political party. And, free trade now, you're always going to have to negotiate trade agreements with your allies. I preferred having the more sweeping trade agreements with multinational entities agreeing to trade. I was a big proponent of the Trans-Pacific Partnership that never happened a decade ago. That would have given us such leverage against China, and we just chose not to do it, and I think it was a mistake. I think it was a mistake to break up whatever we had called what used to be NAFTA. Trump renegotiated that, and it was fine in the first term, CAFTA or whatever it was called. But this tariff regime we have right now, I think, is very unstabilizing for the country.
Well, speaking of unstable, let's go from the tariff to the sheriff.
Yes.
The sheriff in the city of St. Louis, Alfred Montgomery, still in jail, facing pending federal charges. Of course, he's facing his court case right now in the city, in the state of Missouri, over dismissal. I got to tell you, while this is, I know Ron has talked about it, this is my sheriff, and it's somewhat comical to watch from the outside. Last night when I saw this man on TV, it occurred to me that this is a young guy who's in way over his head, doesn't know what he's doing, and he's got himself in some serious situations that he may never be able to get out of. Like, I don't know that he's figured out the gravity of the situation he's in.
I think that's a fair point because, and I don't know, and David Mason, the former judge who is representing him, is a good man. I've known him for years, but I don't know that his legal representation, they may just be doing what Montgomery wants them to do, which is fight, fight, fight. But it seems to me like there would be a fairly simple way out of this if he would agree to resign his office and say, I'll never run for office again, and reach some kind of an agreement, and, his penalty is time served and he's out. That would be, and then he could start his life. You know, he's 28, 29 years old, whatever he is, young man. And I don't know that he's being well served, but I also think he's his own worst enemy here.
And he's becoming the poster child for what's wrong with the city. That we have this extremist, thought process. These progressives brought this guy in. Why? They were upset about the other sheriff. This guy wasn't qualified to do the job.
Right.
We're electing people to do jobs that they have no understanding of what it is they're supposed to do. You're supposed to be the sheriff. You're supposed to take people from and to and from the jail. And it's just sad.
It's not a rocket science position.
No.
But he made so many mistakes and gaffes and, outright illegal actions, apparently, based on the charges against him. And, he ought to be thinking about how to get out of this.
Yeah. Well, we've got to get out of here because we're going to step aside. Amy and Chris are going to come in. It's been a pleasure to be a part of KMOX's 100 years. How many of those 100 years have we been here?
18.
18?
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible?
It's pretty crazy, isn't it? That's Chris and Amy coming your way. 100-year-old station, the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
A lot of people calling each other traitors in Washington, D.C. this week. A good thing it's Friday, and we've got Hancock and Kelley to sort through it all. Plus an update from Sean Malone on Sheriff Alfred Montgomery's trial.